And I tell you, what a very pleasant way again to welcome you to another edition of the closing document. Today is January 27th. The time stands at exactly 14 minutes, kilometer 8 o'clock in Liberia. Let me say welcome to the closing document. Today is a very special edition of the closing document. Wherein we're going to be talking about the Basketball Federation and that are also football. So let me say welcome to the closing argument. I will present to you on today uh, the state of affairs of Liberian soccer and also the Basketball Association. Coming up shortly, we'll get a panelist, we'll get a team from the diaspora. The team going to be on the closing argument. So let me say welcome. And our guest on tonight, we'll get Charles Worth, former Liberian basketball star, on tonight. And our next guest is going to be Benedict Niakun Wiset, former Liberian football star. We're going to be discussing topics for tonight. We're talking about the state of Liberian soccer and basketball, why Liberian soccer and basketball are such a low standard. And we're also talking about the how can we improve the standard of Liberian soccer and basketball. These are topics we're going to be engaging on tonight. So let me say welcome Tomalin George. Welcome again to the special edition of Liberian football and basketball. Sorry that I'll start the show on today. I'm honored and privileged to start the show. Let me say welcome Tomalin.
Yes, it's good to be back again, and it's always a pleasure to be back on the show. Good to be back, and today's a special show. By
Yeah.
popular demand, a lot of people have been asking about Liberian soccer and basketball. People are concerned that we have taken most of our time to watch European soccer. And back in the days, remember when we were growing up, we had our teams, various teams like Barrow, IE, Baman, St. Joseph Warriors, Cedar, Bajeneke, you name it. They were all. But today when we talk about soccer in Liberia, when Arsenal, Manchester, and for me, I feel it's a shame that we're talking about other European sports when soccer and the soccer and basketball is a unifying sports. Sports as a whole is a uh, it's a unifying sport. It's very good. It brings people together. I remember back in the days of the war when during the war years when Liberia were divided. When Lone Star were playing, the country came together. People at that time they had Greater Liberia and the interim government control areas. But whenever Lone Star were playing, people would they would come break that barrier and come and cheer Lone Star to victory. So we had a lot of interesting time at the time. It was so good. But today, when you talk about sports, there's somebody go on Facebook. Oh, I'm for Arsenal, I'm for Manchester, I'm for Juventus, I'm for Milan, all
So,
kinds of stuff.
let
And
me ask,
yeah,
what's your favorite team?
I'm a mighty Barrow fan, a strong Barrow fan though. Barrow fan.
We're talking about internationally now.
I don't adhere to that international stuff. I watch the game sometimes, but I want for us to focus on our local clubs.
So
And
you love your own.
I love my own. If Lone Star is playing or IE or Barrow playing, I will be interested about Manchester. I mean, and because of that, we have all brought this like a justified attitude to our soccer, our football and soccer stuff. As a result, it's now a good thing for us. And uh, so we're not happy for that. So I believe that we should be focused on our national team, the Lone Star, and to improve our soccer. That's why tonight we have invited two great sports who have authority in the game. These guys play at the highest level. Just at the time when they were playing, uh, money was not in the game. But if these guys were playing during up to now, they would have been multi-millionaires. In fact, the wizard dribbler, when they call wizard dribbler, that name, that the guy who, before George Weah, that's the guy. They call him Mama Musa, but it's Benedict Wisse. He played for Mighty Barrow, Invisible 11, IE, and Lone Star. In fact, their team in 1979, they won the Willem Arrow Turbo ECOWAS tournament in Monrovia. That was Six Nation tournament. We had all the big
So
clubs that were all from Africa. They were there, and these guys won that Willem Arrow Turbo Junior tournament. And that was the time Liberian football was. Look, I repeat, Henry, I tell you, I'm born, but I tell you the truth. When these guys were playing, you don't see nothing yet. These guys play for they play for love of country, love of country, not for money, and they play at the highest peak they play. But then most of them left to come to school, which they did. And yeah, go ahead.
So another thing comes to my mind, looking at both sides. Where you find yourself, you were playing basketball, maybe maybe they're coming off during that time, or the football. Where do you
I play both, but not to the level this guy played, man. I played my last football game I played was in for the third division team called Powerful Eagles on Dupo Road. It was 1989. Yeah, that one I think we play in the third division league, but that was not my era. I realized I play basketball in school though, back in Firestone and so forth. But then,
so when it comes to football, what role do you play? Maybe you like defender.
I'm an advocate. I'm an enthusiast. I'm a strong supporter of the game. I love the game. Love the game. Yes.
Are you a midfielder, maybe a striker, or maybe you're a defender?
Man, I play defense during those days, man. Come on.
Take the pressure up. Just pressing you while going back to your opponent's side.
Yeah, but before we bring the guests on the studio, let me talk about them a little bit. Today we have as guests two great Liberian soccer and basketball enthusiasts. These guys play, as I said again, they play the game at the highest level. They are highly respected. They are people they are career people. Back in the day, they say, "Oh, football player were growing up people," but now these guys, they're highly educated people. They're highly educated. They went to school, and today we are proud of them. And in fact, one of the guys, Benedict Yankan Wisse, he's been trying his best to bring Liberian soccer back to light. He's been trying his best. We also asked them today about before we came to the States, they had this annual Mighty Barrow IE soccer tournament. That was another era that brought people together. And here during those days, right, when I came to the States 2000, my first Barrow IE game I went in Trenton. Look, people you have not seen from your childhood days, you met them at that game. That was a reunion. Liberian came together during those days. And that game, you can't see the grass. People, all those in America, come from all over the states. Okay, they came from all over the country, from the US, to come to that game. That game was the game everyone looked up to. When it comes to July 26th game, trust me, people you won't see that in America, you'll see them at that game, because everybody comes from the various states to come for that game. Yes, but so maybe Mr. Wisse will tell us today what happened to that game.
So Tomalin, just before we take them, maybe we can like do an intro for this. There's a special song, Labrador Lone Star.
Play the song. I was getting ready. Play the song. Play the song. Get ready.
Yes. We can do this as an intro for them.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So that goes.
What happened to the song?
Did it?
I'm hearing the song.
Huh?
We hearing the song?
You are hearing the song?
No.
Okay.
No, we hearing the song. I think you have been queuing Austin, brother. Oh. What's up, Henry? Hey, Henry, man. Oh. Henry, what's going on? Okay, in the meantime, while we wait for the song, let me talk about the guest tonight, Mr. Charles Wadsworth, a former Liberian basketball star. So Wadsworth is a leading authority on Liberian sports. He is a graduate of Cotton University and George Washington University. Also, Mr. Benedict Yankon Wise is a former Liberian footballer. He played for Bame, Barrow, IE, and the national football team. He's a graduate of Lincoln University in the U.S. So while I don't hear what happened, but we're going to start the show. We're going to go on working against time. So we now bring on our guest for tonight, Mr. Benedict Yankon Wise.
And Tomalin, just before you bring me on, I did not tell you my kind of sport I play. I would like to disclose it.
No, man. I want our music. I want to get that one right now. We behind time. Yeah. And
Yeah.
Mr. Charles Wadsworth. We're gonna bring the guys on right now. We're gonna start to get the show going. I thought we had that music cue, man. I thought I want to hear that music, but you didn't cue the music. But anyway, we start the show.
I work on it very short. I bring it on.
Okay, but
yeah, I bring it on. Trust me.
It on now?
I bring it on very short. I bring it on again. I'll show you that.
But then why waiting for? Let me start the show with the guys, the guests. They're on the show already. Okay. Come on, man. Herman, when you get out instead, you bring it. Let me bring my guests on, please. We get the show going.
Okay. Let the guests be on. As soon as I added that, I will tell you.
Good evening. Mr. Wise and Mr. Wadsworth, want to welcome you to the closing argument, and it's a privilege to have you gentlemen on this important platform. We are being broadcast. This show is live on Truth FM in Liberia and Hot FM, and also in several radio stations across the country, and it's being witnessed by people. In fact, I've also sent a link to the Vice President of Liberia, who loves one of the guys who followed our platform, the Honorable Jeremiah Kuhn. They're all watching the show tonight. And other football enthusiasts and Liberians are watching the show from all walks of life. I know that people are going to come on, but for the time, I want to welcome you guys to the closing argument. And Mr. Wise, I want to start with you to give you at least your opening comments, talk a little about yourself and about soccer and everything. And then after that, we'll bring Mr. Wadsworth.
Thanks for the invitation.
You sounding low. Okay.
Wait, let me see. Hello. You hear me clearly now?
Yeah, we got you now. We got you now. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much for the invitation. I appreciate it. To be here along with Charles Wadsworth to speak about Liberia sports in general. I play for the national team, as you stated. I graduated from Charlottesville, but came to the States, graduated from Lincoln University. And I'm here in New York City, where I live in Brooklyn. And over the years, I have done some writing, articles, opinion pieces on sports and politics.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Basically,
Go ahead.
Yeah. So that's all I can say about myself right now. And as we go on, perhaps questions will bring other answers or explanation.
Thank you. That's the voice of Benedict Yankon Wise. For those who were around during his soccer days in Liberia, he used to call him Mama Musa, but he was the first Liberia wizard dribbler at the time. He played for Barrow, Baman, and IE. And we talk about Liberian soccer, you cannot forget his name. One of the greatest that played the game in our country. We call him legend. Call them soccer. If you had a Hall of Fame in Liberia, he'll be in the Hall of Fame of Liberian soccer. I want to thank him for his service to our country and his continuous support for the game and advocate for players who are today who are retired. and some of them never had the opportunity to come to go overseas, and they are in Liberia today, struggling and going through a lot. And I'm sure he will address those issues tonight. But let's bring on welcome Mr. Wadsworth. Mr. Charles Wadsworth, can you just give an opening?
Thank you, Mr. George. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Jala, Henry Jala, please move this stuff from. We want to see the guests, please. Henry, can you move this thing? We want to see the guests. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. George, for having me. And it's a great pleasure to be here on your program, especially with my esteemed and distinguished brother and philosophical ally, Mr. Benedict. It was just a synopsis, a snapshot of myself. I went to high school at St. Patrick's High School and Ricks Institute, where I played 3 sports: basketball, soccer, and volleyball. I played for the Lone Star. I joined the Lone Star. I was the youngest player on the Lone Star at 15 years old. And I also played on IE and won several championships. And also played at Cottington, of which I was captain when I graduated in 1979. I was also an official of the Liberian Basketball Federation, and I'm a sports enthusiast. I also love football very much, and I've seen a lot of football games from the time I was 8 years old, beginning with the Ghana Black Star in Liberia. So I'm very, very, very happy that you have Ben to invite me. And for me, Ben, we want to give recognition to those who have not been recognized, who have really give valuable services to our country through sports, but they have gained no recognition. So that's all. I have no other agenda, no hidden agenda. And I look forward to the program, Mr. George. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Walter. Again, want to also thank you for coming on this platform, and thank you for your service to our country in the line of sports. Because how you guys not laid the foundation for our soccer and basketball game today, we will not be where we are today, even though we are at the lowest standard in our history. But to get it started, first of all, let me ask, Mr. Wise, many Liberians are concerned about the state of Liberian soccer today. They are concerned that we have some of the greatest people that play the game. We all know Liberia is the only country that have the only person have won the almost all the major awards in soccer. The world best soccer player, everything came from Liberia. But yet and still, with all of that, people are saying that our Liberia today, only time you hear about Liberian soccer, we call the name Josh Weah, because that's what people recognize. He put us on the map of soccer. He put us on the map, and today, Liberian, at least on top of soccer, people respect us because of what he did in 1990, in the early 90s. But today, where are we today with Liberian soccer? Where are we?
Well, I will not pretend that I know everything about the problem or what we can do to improve conditions in the country regarding sports in general. But I think that there are certain things certain specific things that have to be done. And these things have to do with some infrastructure part of sports development. First thing, we don't have any youth programs. Okay, I think that's where we should start from. Charles plays basketball, and in Monrovia, I don't know today, right now, besides the YMCA and the school yards, if there are other places people can just go and play. The yards in the school, the courts in the school yards are places where people have to seek permission before they go there and play. So first, you have to have the youth program in place, and then you look at the financial aspect of it. Are conditions convenient for players, for example, to get to practice, to eat, to improve their understanding of the game? So there are so many things. It's not so much about that you have to put money into the sports, because had it been the case, countries like Saudi Arabia or Dubai, United Arab Emirates will be, number one in the world. But so these are the things people have to look at. How do you recruit players, young players, that will grow up just knowing how to play basketball and football, develop their own instincts to add to what coaches will tell them. So I think we have a long way to go.
Well, thank you. But one thing I would say that, but during your days, okay, let's talk about the during your soccer days. I know you guys, as I said earlier, you guys didn't play for money. You guys play for love of game, love of country, and for the game. But first of all, let me just ask you, you guys were successful in 1979 to win. I think, am I right? Am I right about the year?
Yes, 79.
Yes. First of all, what was the history behind that whole tournament, and how you guys got to that point before bringing Mr. Walter in? Tell us about that tournament, 1979 tournament.
Okay, the 1979 tournament, actually, it was born out of one of the greatest diplomatic achievements of President Todd. Guinea and Africa have been and Senegal have been at each other's throat. Guinea accused Senegal and Africa because they were fans of trying to overthrow him. So the president, through diplomatic initiatives, was able to bring the three leaders together and managed to get them established diplomatic relationships. Okay, so the Liberian Football Association saw that opening and decided to organize a tournament, which brought in Togo, Gambia, because at the time, Gambia served as a place where they had all the secret diplomatic meetings. Togo participated because France had close connections to Iyadiman, so they asked him to play the role there. So when they were successful, they decided to organize the tournament. So the tournament brought Guinea, Africa, Gambia, Senegal, Togo, and Liberia. So first it started at the club level, and then it went up to the national team level. So that's how it came about. So at that time, we had a national team that on which people were actually recruited because of what their ability could afford them to contribute to the team. We didn't have the opportunities, as you said, to go abroad, anything like that. But it was something that when we play, personally, I will speak for myself and a few other people. When we played, it was just a matter of personal pride. When you played against other countries, you wanted to make sure that after the game, the players, after they went home, they would sit down and remember you. And we didn't have the fear that the other countries were better than us, because now you look at these days, before guys play each other, they already know about this player. This guy is playing he's playing in Europe, he's playing for this thing, he's playing for that thing. But we didn't have that. So it was just a matter of personal pride, combination of personal pride and also the love for the game. Playing on the national team to us, to me, it was an opportunity, not an opportunity, it was a right that you have to earn. So I think that's why we were able to be successful.
Thank you. Quickly before I leave you. So that particular tournament, how you guys got to the final, and can you name the starting players for that tournament for the Lone Star starting players, and also who are the coach?
Oh, okay. Now, I remember I came off the bench. We had Philippi. Philippi became a starting goalkeeper after the Sekou Gomez, who was on camp with us on the national team, who was the number one goalkeeper, was sent home because of some disciplinary problem. So Philippi started in the goal. There was Foke Nepe, there was Solomon Seple, Sakba, Nyansio, there was Anthony Nambwe, the late Anthony Nambwe. There was Santos Maria, Pobra, Waka Heron, Anthony Gray. I don't know if I named Pobra. Yeah. So basically, those were the players who formed the nucleus of the football team. So we play Guinea, we play Senegal, and then we play Gambia in the finals, and we won 1-0. We didn't lose a game. We tied with Senegal. We beat Guinea in the first game, which was one of the days that those who went to the game can recall. There was a belief that the Guinean residents in Liberia decided not to, because they were known for the wrong reason, that they were only taxi drivers, bus drivers, and they decided not to do any of that particular day. They went on a football field, but the field was packed. I remember that beyond capacity. There were other people who were affected by the heat. So we went on and we won the tournament, and we were invited to Bento, to the president's residence, and we were honored. And Solomon Seple, who was the captain of the team, was honored and inducted into the Yumi Order African Redemption, which is the highest honor that the country can afford a citizen.
Thank you. Let me welcome my co-panelist, Lofa Julius, all the way from North Carolina. He's here with us, and also the former national track and field coach Kevin Soko in Wisconsin. There, I want to welcome you guys to this special edition of On the State of Liberian Soccer, Basketball, and Liberian Sports as a whole. So, what's let's hear from you, Liberian basketball side. I mean, I know. Up to date, I don't think Liberia won. I think the closest Liberia came or won a game abroad was I remember the game in Nigeria when Robert Morale Walker, he's in Rhode Island now. He scored that winning basket, and the next day the headline carry Robert Morale Walker scared the Nigerian. And today, while I live in Rhode Island and I'm talking about sport, Morale will just talked about that game.
You got all right to talk about that.
I'll talk about that game. Say, look, you shut up, man. I'll give Liberia international victory. But talk about basketball.
But before I go on, you're talking about that game. It was not only one game Liberia won. Liberia beat Nigeria in Liberia and in Lagos.
Oh, okay.
And that was a big feat. And look what happened today. Nigeria beat the United States. You see how far we're going. But before I go on, let me put this in historical context. Basketball was played by mostly students. And basketball started in Liberia, was introduced by the Americans in the early 50s. And the high school Basketball Association was founded in 1963. The Inter-High School Sports Association was founded in 1963. The Liberia Basketball Federation was founded in 1964. And the first president was the famous architect Winston Richards. He was the first president. Some of the founding and the first Secretary General was Mr. Stephen Mattis. Some of the founding members, and I know the only founding members who is alive today is Cher Tubman.
Wow.
Some of the founding members were Oliver Bright. There was one lady, Mae Thompson, Chancellor Cooper, F.C. Loco, Frank Pollock, who was also a Peace Corps volunteer and a coach, and Mr. David Newell Howard from the YMCA. So given that, I just wanted to bring that in so you see how basketball started. And one of the major institutions that really promoted basketball was the YMCA under Mr. Howard. Mr. Howard was the executive director. He came to Liberia in 1949. And the YMCA was like a melting pot. So before, there's a lot of stuff to talk about in that. Let me just continue the history. And also in the 60s, we had a relationship with the U.S. Cultural Foundation that helped to even bring coaches to Liberia. In fact, it was not only coaches, and through the U.S. Cultural Foundation, we established a relationship too with the NBA. And in the 60s, we have Bill Russell, Casey Jones, Bill Russell, Casey Jones from Boston Celtics, Tom Sherry from Golden State Warriors, Saego Green from Baltimore Bullets,
Wow.
David Thompson from Denver Nuggets, Quinn Buckner also from the Boston Celtics. All these guys came to Liberia to conduct basketball clinics. So, and we participated in the national games. I remember we played in the All-African preliminary elimination game, of which I played for the first time. I was 16 years old. And we came runner-up to Ivory Coast, and Ivory Coast became our greatest rival. They found it very difficult to beat us. I remember in 1977, when we were supposed to go to the West African Championship, and the government said they didn't have any money for us to go. So the priority were on football. So Ivory Coast won the championship. And they came to Liberia to play us, and we beat them. And we went to Ivory Coast in 1978 and even defeated them there in Ivory Coast. You know, so this is just to show you the progression. And then coming on to the Nigeria game. Before the Nigeria game, the national team also went to Egypt to play in the Olympic qualifier. And we defeated Guinea, and we lost to Egypt, who later on who won the tournament to become the African champion. As a matter of fact, we lost to Egypt with the fewest points, 7 points. We're the only team that came close to defeating Egypt in that tournament. So you see, there have been a lot, the progression, but the problem has been right now we don't have organized high school sports association. It is not only for football. I'm happy we have the track coach because we can go into track too. We can go into Liberia participation in the Olympics, the 1956 Olympics in Melbourne, Australia. You know, we have always they had organized high school track meet. In fact, I have some photographs, and maybe I will try and share them. This was in 63, 64 on BWI, where they had a high school national track meet. I even have statistics on the different races from the high schools where they had annual high school sports meets, track meets. You see, but nowadays we do not have any organized association. And you know, we take sports for granted. And Mr. George alluded to that at the beginning of the program, the uniting effect of sports. Sports teach a lot of lessons. You know, it teaches discipline, it teaches hard work, it teaches dedication, it teaches determination, you know, It teaches a lot. It teaches patriotism. It teaches nationalism. Because I know when Ben was talking about soccer, when I played on the national team, the other day I had one of my buddies who was visiting me, David Chia. He also played the national team. And we were talking about our experience on the national team. When you're playing on the national team and they're playing the national anthem, your heart always wants to jump off your chest. I remember we had a situation. Let me just share this with you. We had a situation. We were playing Ghana. This was in 1977. And most of the guys on the team, after being the youngest player on the team, I have become a veteran player on the team. And most of the new guys on the team had not seen the progression of Ghana in 5 years. And we had never seen them play after I saw them play, after we played against them in 72. But those guys had improved so much. Most of the guys who were playing were in the military, the Air Force, the Navy, and the Army. And these guys, at first half, they were leading us by 5 points. And Ben, that was my first time seeing this, because all the time I played sport, even playing for IE and all of my high school team, I had never seen my teammate cry during the halftime and were down the game during the halftime, they were crying.
Wow.
And we were so concerned because, we had a saying, because Ghana Black Star always beat Liberia. And we said, if we can't beat them, they will not beat the basketball team. And we're down by 5 points. So we huddled together in the second half, and we said, guys, we have to show these guys that we are the Lone Star. And we went back the second half and beat them with almost 25 points.
Wow.
Yeah. And this is showing that's the nationalism. We're not playing for money. I can tell you guys, there was a situation where, let me say this before I forget. In 1972, we went to Ghana. The basketball team, men basketball team, women basketball team, and volleyball team, and the football team. And at that tournament, they had Sierra Leone, Ivory Coast, and Ghana. Man, I'm telling you, the way we display, nobody could believe that the government of Liberia did not give us a penny, because there was some disagreement between the sports official, Ian Smart and Stephen Talbot. And we did not get any per dime. We went for 10 days. They did not give us 1 penny. And nobody, the other athletes did not know that these people didn't give us any money. And at the end of the tournament, they were having a reception, because we all live on the Ivorian national team, the Ghanaian national team, and the Sierra Leone national team. We all live in the University of Ghana at Mesa Saba Hall. And at the end of the tournament, they were having a reception at Black Star Hotel in Accra. So, unfortunately for 3 of us, our buses left us. And the last bus that was leaving for the program was the Ivorian national soccer team. And these guys, the captain was Laurent Pokou, the late Laurent Pokou, who wanted the stadium in Africa is now named after. So we got on we asked Laurent Pokou about my cousin, late Andy Ure, Diman Ping, and myself. We got on the bus. When we got on the bus, there was a jump seat sitting in the front behind the captain, Laurent Pokou, vacant seat. So I occupied that seat. And the other 2 guys went in the back. So the guys in the front, including Laurent Pokou, the first question they asked me, how much money did your government give you? And I told them in French, rien. That means nothing. They could not believe, they thought I was lying. So they asked those guys in the back in French to ask those guys, the other 2 guys, how much the government gave them. And we said nothing. You know what the guys did?
No.
Lawrence Pokou took his wallet from his pocket, took money from his pocket, and made everybody on the team in the bus add money to that to give to the 3 of us.
Wow.
That was, and today I will always remember that lesson. That was African solidarity.
Wow.
So you see the kind of sport lesson that it taught
Wow.
us. So we have to organize. We have to do better for our children. We have to keep those kids off the streets. And sports, look at us today. I'm an educator on the verge of retiring. I've taught middle school, high school, alternative school. I've been a school administrator here in the United States. Been living here for the past 40 years. But we are still involved in trying to build infrastructure for the kids. I'm a senior advisor to the Great Ball Players Association. I'm also a member of friends and supporter of the Liberian basketball. Great ball players, we built a $17,000 court in New Croton. We donated a $8,000 scoreboard to the excuse me. We donated a $8,000 scoreboard to the SKD stadium, the basketball stadium. And presently, we are building a $21,000 basketball court in Gardnersville for the kids. We have to build infrastructure. Government, when I say government, who is the government? The government is the people. But one way we can continue to develop is to strengthen. I heard Mr. George talking about the National Soccer League. We always had a strong soccer league. Our problem has been organization. Liberia has always had talents. Always. I tell you guys, for soccer, let me digress. It was in the 1963 or 64, a Brazilian team called Bonsusuco went to Liberia to play. Liberia. But before coming to Liberia, they had beaten, because this team, they were in the National League with Santos Pele's team. I think they were second or third place. They beat Bolivia, Paraguay, and some other countries. They beat national teams in South America. And then came to Africa, they beat Senegal, they beat Guinea, and then they came to Liberia. They played two teams. They played Lone Star and they played IE. They lost both sides. But before that, there was another Brazilian team that came to Liberia and they lost.
Wow.
So when people talk about that, we always had the talents. If we can sit down, and because sport has not always been politicized, people will say, oh, I don't know where the tribe this person came from, the other person came from. When I was coming to school, to graduate school at George Washington University, I was at the airport, and one of my teammates, the late Henry Kessley, I never looked at him as being from Lofa County. He came to me. He was at the airport. My mom was crying and stuff. He came to me and put me on the side. And he told me, he called me my nickname, or IE. He said, we are depending on you. You go to school, don't mess up. I told him I will not mess up. And I came and I kicked butt. So you see, so it was not this. When there was a problem with our buddies, we didn't look at this person from Lofa, from Nimba. We look at it as Liberians. And I want sports teachers. And if we can put all this petty stuff aside and give stuff to them and find coaches, because we have to have coaches. Because if we don't teach the kids the fundamentals, as Tomalin said, people talking about Barcelona and stuff, we have organized football league. Just recently, we had somebody who contributed his life to Liberian sports, to Barrow, to the Lone Star, Boba Gay, people. So he's deceased. I don't see anything on the sports media, on the social media, anything on the national newspaper or Boba Gay. This is a guy who was captain of the Lone Star for many years. And all these guys came from high school. You for Firestone told me, when they said the high school, St. Patrick's and BWI were playing in the 60s, St. Patrick and CWA were playing. Those were all the guys who were playing in high school, were playing on the national team. So they were feeders. We had an organized league. So we always had people. IE went to Nigeria when Nigeria was rather independent. They were invited to play in the inaugural stuff for Nigeria independence. IE beat Roma and beat all the top teams there in Nigeria. The Liberian team. Look at Africa champion Anglebat in Liberia. I remember Anthony Grant, I was at St. Patrick's together. We wrote, and it was just an emergency game. We took a cab and went to the stadium together, and he got dressed under the stadium quickly to play in a game against the African champion. This was a game that was go off. And guess what? IE drew with them 1-1. Goal scored by Santos Maria. Look how far we have gone. Black Star, who were Africa champion, who beat all the other teams with many goals. And people take this lightly. I have an article by Flamingo Magazine, Ben. I need to publish that article nationally so everybody can see where Liberia came from. Because nobody gave Liberia a chance and stuff. That's where the Flamingo Magazine said Liberia has arrived. David Momo, the goalkeeper, the Ghana newspaper, one of the best goalkeepers to ever go to Ghana. So we have always had talent. We need to do something about our talent. We talk about track, Kosoko. There was in the county meet. I remember in the late 60s, early 70s, there was a young girl from Grand Julius County called Ruth G. Ask anybody but Ruth G. She was little. She was a young girl. That girl, she beat all the big girls. 100 meter, 200 meter, everything she kicked all of them. And we just let that stuff just go like that. We do not appreciate our own people. I have, let me say this last bit. There's a friend of mine who was a schoolmate of mine. She was an athlete too at Ricks Institute. She has a son called Jenje Addy. Jenje was a track star here in the States. JJ went and represented Liberia at the All Africa Games. JJ won the hardest event, the decathlon. He won the gold medal for the whole Africa. Nobody had ever won any award before. He won the gold medal for the whole Africa. Yet still, they never recognized him. The government never recognized him. Other places, people name street after those people. Even I said to some of my buddies who were in the legislature, I told them, I said, you guys are sorry. I said, you guys should have even declared an unbinding resolution in honor of this young man for the thing he did to put Liberia on the map to win a gold medal in the highest event. Kosoko, you can talk about the decathlon and let the people know what the decathlon is and what it entails. I rest for now, Ben. Sorry.
Wow. Look, look, guys, we have it's a rich history of sports, and I want to welcome Toya Harris, another Liberian soccer great. He played basketball in Liberia too for Barrow, the great ball players. I want to as I say again, back in the days, these guys were playing for money. Toya will be a multi-millionaire today because they were coming for the NBA. Because I watched him play in Liberia. He was a great basketball star too. But again, welcome to have you on the show, and we'll just continue to have discussion. Yeah, go ahead, Lofa.
Right. Yeah, I mean, great. Definitely great to
Lofa, just a minute, please. I just wanted to add something to what Charles said about showing appreciation for our own players. Okay, Frank Beckenbauer just died. Okay, and George Weah issued a statement. Okay, of tribute to Frank Beckenbauer, but nothing was said about Bob Gay from him.
Wow.
Okay, and Bob Gay, we're not talking about Benedict Wise. We're talking about one of the greatest Liberian footballer who served as captain of the national team for almost a decade. And his name,
Deputy Minister for Youth and Sports.
Yeah.
You know what?
He was my coach at St. Patrick's High School also.
Wow.
Again,
Tomalin.
Yeah.
Let me just great history. I will give the panelists the opportunity. Coach Soko and Mr. Harris. I would like to hear from them because hopefully these are things that we have a lot of young people following. Hopefully they can learn from this history and we can make up from where we find ourselves today, because these are things that are missing greatly in our day-to-day activities in Liberia. And Mr. Woodworth rightfully said, sports is very important. Even in the great United States, it is incorporated in the day-to-day activities for students. So I just want to sit back and hopefully use this as an opportunity for me to learn and say thanks to all of you for your immense contribution to Liberia. And hopefully some of us can pick up from where you left off or where you continuously adding and make Liberia a much more better place. So I just want to say thanks to all of you guys for your level of patriotism, your support for Mama Liberia, and continue to do what you have done. And hopefully we can use this platform to educate more Liberians on again sports. It is a vital part of a nation growth. Thank you.
Thank you, Lofa. And again, let me say that we are live on True FM and Hard FM in Monrovia, and several radio stations across the country is carrying this program live. And a lot of people watching the show, about 2,000 people watching this show live. And it was because people are really, like Lofa said earlier just now, a lot of young people, when you guys were playing, they weren't born, man. Like Mr. Walsall just gives history. He talked about sports and what Liberia been. I'm learning today because I know we're talking about David Momo. We heard about it, but he went to UK and Germany. We asked all these questions today. But tell you what, welcome, and Mr. Kevin Soko. Mr. Soko is the former national track and field coach of Liberia, and like Mr. Walsh was talking about track and field. So Mr. Soko will give us some perspective about that area. But again, let's have fun. Let us discuss about soccer, basketball, and all sports. Liberian people are listening across the nation. And it's the best time to talk about it on a Saturday, and people are watching from their homes and other areas they are present in. So let's talk about it. So Toiwa, Mr. Sogo, you want to chime in, talk about some intro, then we'll go to Toiwa, and then we'll move on back to Mr. Wisa.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Yeah, you're loud and clear.
Yeah. It's a pleasure to be on your show today. I'm very, very happy to be with you guys. And before I delve into what I want to say, I want to pay tribute to Mr. Baba Gay, who was the captain of the Lone Star team way back in the days. My two uncles played for the Lone Star soccer team, the very first Lone Star soccer team, Sam Masekwe and Abu Kamara.
Oh, great player.
They were my two uncles. And then my oldest brother, who is in Raw Island now, Dukle Soko, used to play for Firestone. And he brought me into track. And then my older sister, Sunshine, Vera Soko Jones, the late, she used to run track with the boys at Bolahon Mission in Lofa County. So I started track many years ago when I was a kid in Firestone. And my colleague, who was in the 5th grade, and I was in the grade 1 or grade 2, somewhere there, Daniel Gao, if anybody can remember that name, shout out to him. I want to get a shout out to all of my athletes that I coach from the 1980s to the 1990s, and the ones that are associated with. There are many of them around the world today as I speak to you. Some of them are serving in the Liberian society. I'm very proud of them. I can name them over and over and again. I'm proud of Dr. Jala Babu, who is the Dean of the University of Liberia. I coach him. I'm proud of George Calando, who is in Monrovia, doing well in the society. Christopher Sayer, Augustus Moulton, Jefferson Hodge, Magna Harris, etc., etc. And in the 1970s, early, as a child, I was opportune to have gone to the Firestone football field, the stadium called the Field House. And I saw this big photo on the wall upstairs. And who was that? It was Jesse Owens of the United States when he ran in the 1936 Olympic Games in Germany. I was very impressed. I think I'll send that photo to Julius if you can put it up for the public to see. That photo enthused me a lot to get involved into track. Fast forward, I went to BWI, where I was opportune to have gathered some friends to restart the BWI track team in the 80s. It was 1979 specifically. I told the guys, I said, look, you know what? My oldest brother ran track on this pavement here, Duke Soko. And I want for us to rejuvenate this noble event. And it was agreed upon. We went to the principal, F. Amadou, peace be to his soul. We approached him about it. He agreed, he bought a uniform and started to support the team. The coup took place 1980, and President William Awatoba was assassinated. But we didn't stop there, like Mr. Wadsworth has said. Mr. Wadsworth, this is my journal that I wrote as a coach of the Madison Technical College here. Please write yours. It will serve a lot. I sent a copy to Liberia to be placed in the library of Ministry of Youth and Sports. But my brother, you ask anybody now, they will tell you, say, I don't know where it's at.
Thank you, my brother.
I have mine.
Thank you. I'm working on that book. On all sports.
Write that book, Mr. Wadsworth. Write that book.
We're working on it because when I retire, I will have more time on my hands.
If you need my support,
I
can help you.
All right, thank you.
And I got everything.
If you need information on track in general, photographs and stuff, I will help you.
I'm not a photographs, but I can be able to Google and get you some of the photographs. That you
I'm talking about photographs from the 60th track beat, the high school track meet in BWI. I think I got some photographs and stuff.
Okay, thank you very much. Then you can just send them to me. Okay, I said,
I've done extensive research in the Library of Congress and the National Archives because I live in Virginia, so I had closed but since the COVID and stuff. But when I retire, I have Ben, Mr. Wisa can tell you. But there's one thing we talk about all the men's sports, but one thing we have to talk about the women involvement. Women, because research shows that girls.
You go into what I want to say.
Okay, because girls.
You go into what I want to say because 1984, that was when we sent the first female track athlete to the Los Angeles Olympics. When Liberia thought that track and field was only male-dominated sport, and I broke that barrier.
I was in graduate school.
Right now, as I speak to you, she's a neurosurgeon, a PhD neurosurgeon here in the United States.
Yeah, I don't think it. In fact, I watched her.
Can do.
I was supposed to go on the delegation because I came on the flight with Mr. Blair. I was coming to graduate school. And
okay, Mr. let me pick it from it. Thank you very much, sir.
But the women,
so 1980, when the coup took place, we decided to continue track. Not to step aside because sports unify people, and the country was divided. It was just in disarray. Soldiers were shooting all over the place, and the country was in complete chaos. We decided not to back off. We organized our team. We sent a message to Monrovia, to the Ministry of Youth and Sports, that we are organized. We want to come for the high school championship. Tottenham High is waiting for us. BW Harry waiting for us. Ware Heston, etc., etc. We went to the championship. In the halftime of the championship, we decided to go for a break. We went to Gardnersville for lunch. Only to our surprise, somebody came running, speeding up in a taxi and said that they arrested your coach, Mr. Nana Opupuwari. I don't know whether he gone back to Ghana. He was from Ghana. They said they arrested your coach. I said, who arrested him? They said, oh, but we saw him, and they carried him to Thomas Samuel West. Wesson. Thomas Wesson. Yeah, at the time. So I said, but then we have to go there, gentlemen. Let's start eating and let's go get our coach. We went to the barracks. They say he in jail. I would say, why he in jail? They say he made a remark that was not called for at the stadium. So we said, what were the remarks that he made? They said, oh, the water that they carry for the athletes, and the coach said the spectator drinking the water and the athletes not drinking the water. I said, is that anything uncalled for that he said that you will have to put him in jail? They said, oh, you go to your campus, we'll release him tomorrow. We sat right there in the barrack and we said, we're not leaving until they put our coach outside. And Todman had John us, BWR John us, and they released our coach. We went on campus. The old man started crying. He said, Kevin, I love BWR. I love Liberia. But let me tell you up front, I will never coach this school again. I came from Ghana. Nobody jailed me there. I come to Liberia. I'm teaching here. And I decided to coach for you people without pay, just like what Mr. Wadsworth said. And you all put me in jail. Every one of us broke down in tears. We started crying and we begged him to come back to coach. He said he was not going to do it. So we wrote a letter and sent to the Ministry of Youth and Sport for the Minister Fred Bladen, peace be to his soul, to apologize to our coach so he can continue coaching. They refused. They refused. They never wrote that apology. What we did next, I sent for the national coach at the time, Mr. Gene Davis. I told him, I said, if you don't come on campus here at BWI will not participate in any track program again. That's how Mr. Davis, our coach David, went to BWI. He apologized to the coach. The coach said he would not take the apology until it comes from the minister himself. And the minister never apologized. Going forward, I called a team meeting and I told them, I said, you know why? We are up to the task and the national championship is coming. We got to go to Monrovia and win the championship. I will take responsibility to coach the team. That's how I started coaching. I coached the team in 1980. We went to the championships. We won the championship. 1981, the National Youth and Sports decided to combine all the schools, including the University of Liberia and Corridon at the time. We told them, but we're high school. We want to compete against high school. They said, no. You got to compete against the University of Liberia. You got to compete against Corridon. Corridon did not come, but University of Liberia came full-fledged. They came with all the arsenals, packed with tough athletes. What we did, we stood up as Tigers at that stadium. At that time, we had Nimle Twagbe, Esther Howard, Betty Wood, Betty Clinton, Kona Smallwood. We had all those tough guys. Ami Barry, Jefferson Hush, Magna Harris, Augustus Modern. And we beat LU at that time. So Mr. Davis, Coach Davis invited me in 1983 to come to the Ministry of Youth and Sports, and he told me to serve as the junior coach for the track team. He said, but picking no pay. I said, what you mean? Then how will come to work? He said, I ate there. Yeah, at that time, Brandon Samuka was working at the Ministry of Youth and Sports as a cadet with the Minister Fred Blade. He said, Peking, I said, no pay. You got to find a way to come to work. I said, okay. I used to walk to work. What I used to do in the morning, I would walk to work because I had one-way pay. to take me back home. Then I walk from the Ministry of Youth and Sport. At the time, we were on the Boulevard. I walk from the Boulevard all the way down to Freeport. Then I get in car and go home. For a couple of years, 1984, I was in charge to recruit the national team for the 84 Olympic in Los Angeles. That was a daunting task for me because what I was told to do, they told me to go all over the country to get athletes. You're not paying me. How you tell me to go to the counties to go and go get the athletes?
Wait, Mr. Soko, please, because of time, can you just,
to just narrow everything down. Okay, I thought you wanted for me to talk like Mr. Wasmore.
Yeah,
that's okay. All right. So, okay, let me narrow. Let me narrow from here.
Thank you.
I recruited the 84 team. That's when I had the first female group on the team. That was Grace Ann Dinkins. That was Bua Wissing. That was Esther Howard. Those three girls were on the team, but two were dropped. Bua Wissing and Esther Howard were dropped. Only Grace Ann Dinkins made that team. And 1988, I had a second female, Nyenwolo, that represented Liberia in Seoul Olympics. And that's how the women started to move up the ladder on our team. And I'm very, very glad that today you have 2, 3 women, 4, 5 boys on the team. My hope is that the Ministry of Youth and Sports, the new minister that was appointed, will look into other sports, including track and field, because track and field is an educational discipline. Track and field can help to move the children from the street. It can educate them. It helps to discipline them. So if the Ministry of Youth and Sports can invest into track and field, basketball, football, boxing, tennis, it will be good for our country. It will help to move the kids from the street because Liberia have had great tennis player, the smoker, John Smoker from Firestone, and Nathaniel Jeffrey from Firestone, Dr. Togba Natipote. At the time, he used to be called Dr. Roberts. He was one of the best tennis players in Africa. So we have had great players. And today, we are almost there in track and field. We have this young talent called Joseph Fambule, who is one of the world's best athletes now, as I speak to you. And he will be competing in the summer game in Paris, France. And I'm hopeful that Liberia will get her first medal, either a bronze, silver, or a gold. Any mistake, because we don't have the great Usain Bolt again. So the field is wide open. Fambule can make the difference for Liberia. I pause.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let me bring in Toyiwa Harris. Before that, let me just pause to welcome Timos W. Gay. He's the son of the late Baba Gay. And Mr. Gay would like to talk a few words about his father and so forth. We want to say again our condolences to you and your family, Dr. Gay. And before you came in, Mr. Wisa and Mr. Walter talk about you, about your father, and Mr. Soko. And we're happy to, at least you can come in to just say a few words about your father. Welcome, Mr. Gay.
Yeah, thank you. Let me say Happy New Year to everybody since the year just beginning. And also thank you, Tomalin, for allowing me to share on your platform. It's a tough time for our family, but again, in all, we always must expect the unexpected. I'm actually I'm fine with my phone, my earpiece on, as a community leader. I'm attending a funeral of one of our members for the Illinois community. And just to let you know, the oldest Liberian association in America is the Illinois Association, founded in 1951. Registered, so we do our duties for the community in as much as we also are grieving. But yeah, thank you, Tomalin. My dad passed 2 weeks ago, exactly this Saturday. I received the eerie call of his passing. We actually should have been in Liberia on the 18th, but things did not pan out after he went for a brief procedure that it turned out to be a call the next morning that would tell me on the 12th that he would be dead. So we were going to just take him home. We lost my mother about 8 months ago. So we wanted to just go and grieve as family. And he and I had worked hard to build a sports college. And as his sports college, he has a degree in sports. I also am a FIFA registered agent and a professional sports agent in the US, a license. So I took that ever since almost about 20 years. Let's build a sports college. So we got the land, almost about 20 acres, to go to my sister, right around Orange Grove and Charlesville. We have enough of land there that was supposed to build this wonderful college. So I said, Pop, just go break the ground. We got to honor your friend Nyenwolo, all those who played the great sport, including the first African born on African soil, or Eusebio. Let's honor their legacy here in Liberia. Since we also helped to raise a wonderful player who became the world best, Mr. President George Weah. Let's do something for our country. It didn't happen. So Papa passed away, and it's been a tough one for us, but we want to honor his legacy, and I want to really, really appreciate you for giving us this little time to share about him and him, just let us know who he was as a man, as a son, as a captain, as a mentor, and a civil servant in the Liberian government. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Again,
Condolences, Adimas. Nephew?
My condolences, Artemis.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
I'll give you a call.
Condolence.
I'm just finding it, bro.
Yeah, Adimas.
Yeah.
Charles Wadsworth. My condolences, nephew.
Oh, thank you, big
Yeah,
brother. Yeah, thank
yeah.
you.
I'm so sorry, man. I'm so sorry. We're with you guys. Our prayers are with you and the family.
Thank you. Thank you.
and that's the Dr. Atimas Gay, the son of the late Baba Gay, former, as Mr. Wise said earlier, former national team captain. I think he also coached the team too, and former deputy minister of youth and sports. Again, our condolences to his family, and I want to pray that you'll be consoled during these difficult times of your lives. Again, thank you, at least, for sharing a little moment with your father.
Yeah,
So-
definitely. Artemis,
So, welcome, Chairman Sanvee. But to you, Harris, let's join the conversation.
Yeah, well, Happy New Year to everybody. You know, traditionally, they say when January is still around, it's still a new year. So, Happy New Year to everybody. It's a pleasure to be back on what I call my platform. And this platform is, I feel a part of it. And I always support it and like the direction is moving. So, it's a pleasure. I see some familiar faces and some not so familiar on the panel today. My mentor, one of my mentors in love is Cuckoo Charles Wadsworth. Mama Point, I held his bag. I was on his bag going into YMCA, watching games free and learning about life. And not only basketball, about being a man, being a family man, being educated, and how to be a community-centered person. I see Mama Musa, but Benedict is he's not much older than me, but he's still my big brother. So we were playing sports around the same time. When he had to speak, I was on the verge of hitting mine. So I was on the bench when Barrow was winning. So the IE boys, yeah. The only reason I didn't wear a Barrow hat is because my Knicks are playing today. So I just want you to know that.
All right, there.
And that's a tribute to our captain, Paul Gay. That's a tribute to the Barrow captain. You see, Barrow is bereaved as a family. And Liberia is bereaved more. And of course, Dr. Artemas and his siblings are the direct people associated with the great Liberian. But as a member of the mighty Barrow, he was our flag barrier. He set the trend and the example for us young athletes. So, to his glory, on behalf of all the Mighty Barrow fans, including me, even though I was a player, I was also a fan. Have my sympathy, Dr. Octavius, and I hope that he gets the crew going he deserves. Now, let me move on to why I wanted to be here. And when I saw the flyer, I saw Benedict and Kuku. Well, I will call them personal names because they personal to me. And I saw them on the flyer, and I was like, "But Timothy, why you didn't bring me?" And Timothy was like, "But T, come back on and be a panelist." So technically, I'm a panelist, and I want to see that under my name, Chairman Ben. So I'm not a guest.
Your people, the man, you know.
Because this is our platform. But and the topic that was brought up, where the state of our sports today. Growing up in Liberia, I grew up in the mid 70s. That's when I was able to leave the house. So when you're able to leave the house, then you're growing up now. You know, when you can go to the store for yourself. Yeah. So at the time I started going to the store. And that's when Cuckoo, Benedict them were playing Roundtown Soccer. Now, Roundtown Soccer, it was organized by the community. We had sports administrators. We had a system, not sanctioned by the government or any organization outside the community organization. So we built our grassroots football. That fed our national leagues and the national team and the big teams. The model has moved away from that from Rantown League, as we used to call it. It's not more organized because now they got them Division 3, they U13, U14. But what the reason I'm trying to put those together, we took the community out of our football development and we wanted to make it administrative. And it died because the community uh, uh, didn't have skin in the game. Let me tell you something. When I'm do ready to play, I was 15. They will go around the neighborhood and collect money. The neighborhood will support that team, send the team on camp. The neighborhood will be in junior offense to cheer in the victory. The neighborhood had skin in the game.
Exactly.
And that's what's killing now. So when we go to the first division, Sierra Leone has similar problems. Sierra Leone had to change the scheduling of their games, of their first division games, against when the Premier Leagues were showing because they had no attendance. We can see now in the African Cup of Nations, this is affecting Africa. In the African Cup of Nations, the attendance is very low. The attendance is very low because most of the people are not used to going to games again. They're used to watching it on TV, or because of the economy and poverty. And so they can't afford to go to those games. But so what I'm saying is,
But tell you what.
yes.
Yeah, they're talking about broadcasting. In the old days, most of the games, the high school game, the basketball game, the football game, they were all on the radio.
Yeah, but I understand that. But Kuku, the correlation I'm making is that there's a
No,
drop.
I agree with you. I'm just interjecting that.
There's a drop in attendance of I'll be specifically soccer, football in Liberia, a drop in attendance, a drastic drop in attendance. And that, I mean, when Barrow I were playing, y'all had to fight for TJ. You know what I'm saying? When big game, when Amen were playing so Amen were playing so what though? You don't have features, you can't even get a standing room. People don't go to the games no more. And because we community involvement now. I proposed something a long time ago to the LBA, to use the communities to fuel our first division. Make every single first division team have a county that they represent, and they are a county team. When you go look at the English, you see Manchester. When you come here, you see New York Knicks, you see Boston Celtics. We need to give the counties, and each county has a team in the first division. They will support that team, and they will have a feeder system that comes out of the district league. The district league will be their youth program, and the district league players will evolve to be the members of that senior team. I thought it was a great idea because I saw that model work everywhere else but Liberia. We do not have look, Barrow and I were the two biggest teams. The only team that really had community involvement was Baman.
And that was the oldest team.
Well, Baman, they have community involvement. Tomalin is a Barrow man. I've seen Tomalin advocating Barrow must be mean Basel, and leverage Doris Williams Stadium as their home fee. And when they got foreign match, they must come to Doris Williams. Mama and Benedict, you've been to Ashanti region to play Kotoko. You didn't play there in Accra.
That's correct.
So we never diversified. And I think when we talk about the state, and that's what the topic that drew me here, the state of affairs of our sports in Liberia, we have not diversified out of Monrovia. We need to get out of Monrovia. And look at the county meet. If you look at the top teams in the county meet, 5 of the top players are coming from Monrovia. You understand what I'm saying? We didn't build a system where you will have the district, all the district in the county will play. The all-star team for that district will represent that district in the county.
Tell you why.
In the county meet.
Tell you why. Check this out. In 1962, St. Patrick's went to play in Kepamas. They went to play Fatima, all the schools in Kepamas. You know how they got there? By boat. That time they went the road, no road, the road network where they had to ride boat to go there. And going there, I thought they built relationship. Even though they beat everybody there, but those relationships that they built among some of the players became lasting relationship. Those guys came from Kepama, they came to Monrovia, they became friendly with these guys when they served in government together. You know? And one of the things I'm talking about the women's sport, look at we do not have a female national basketball team. In 1963 we did, 64 we did, 65 we did. I
want to throw a monkey wrench here. I see that kickball is a national sport, a part of the county. Kickball is not played out of Liberia. Kickball is normally played. I don't know if it's a national competition or even a regional competition that kickball is a part of.
But you know how kickball got to Liberia?
But we have moved the track and field from the county meet. Basketball barely made the county meet the last time, but kickball was part of the county meet. So what's the focus here? What's the focus here on developing? We want to develop international minds, not local content. We need international minds to compete with their peers outside Liberia. If we shut that down and only the sport that is only, maybe I stand corrected. Does anybody know any regional or international competition?
Joey, can I jump in there?
Yes, please. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you, my brother. With respect to track and field, we borrow from the model of the Dubai USA. Benedict, you can back me for that when you guys came to Liberia as the Dubai USA soccer team. So after that, we decided to globalize our track team. We started to move to the United States. But before then, we were trying to prioritize what can be done for the national team. The players were not being paid. They were not being given incentive, let's say that. And a lot of things were lacking. that the players didn't have. They laid discrimination thing I'm talking about. The women were not prioritized as well. So what we did was to appeal to the president at the time, Samuel Kedo. We went to him. I personally passed through somebody at the executive mansion to appeal to him that, hey, the football team is being paid. I can remember when he gave the $10,000 to each of the national team players. And some of them built their houses and stuff. But then the track team, they never had any incentive. So through him, his intervention, our track team was on payroll. I went to Dr. Francis Blopre at the time. He was the chairperson of the Liberia Track and Field Federation. I appealed to him. I said, hey, these track players, they don't have medical insurance. When they're sick or when they get injured, there's no medical care for them. So Dr. Blopre was very, very generous indeed to put all the track players on a little bit of incentive to come and get treatment, medical insurance at his clinic. Fast forward, we try to decentralize track and field in Liberia. That has been one of our monumental tasks since then. And then to bring track and field to the United States as well. We started our program in 1984 when the Olympic team returned. Right after that, Grace Dinking and Oliver Daniels, they had an opportunity to come here to the United States to attend college. And that's how Grace Dinking earned her PhD and Oliver Daniels earned his college degree.
So I remember when Oliver Poppy hamstring right before that Olympics.
Mr. Soko.
Yes, sir.
I have a question.
Oliver?
Yeah, go ahead.
I wanted for you to talk about the decathlon. This is a guy who won the gold medal in the All Africa Games. I want for you to tell the people what the decathlon entails. Yeah,
the decathlon.
Yeah, and to see this guy won gold medal for the whole Africa.
The decathlon. Yeah, I follow him on screen. It's a 10 event. You have to do 10 event, and it's called the Herculean sport in track and field. It runs a couple of days before it ends, and you have accumulated points before you can be declared the winner. And Janje was able to do that for Liberia. So
no recognition, none. His mom told me they didn't even give him 1 penny. 1 penny they didn't give him. They didn't even give me a recognition to say penny. They didn't give me anything. This is what we do with our own people. And we're talking about women's sports. Look, imagine why is it that in the 60s we have women's sports, organized national team, play in international tournament. Remember 65, the girls play at Convent, they play Ivory Coast, they play Guinea. I have pictures of all the stuff. And then in 65 and 67, the first women team to travel outside of Liberia was the Continental Women Volleyball team to the West African University game. And they won. No mention. So what happened to the women's sports? We don't even have a male national basketball team.
Wait, let me
can I land?
Okay, go ahead, we'll land.
Yeah, we all went through that. Can you imagine at the heat of the war, the Civil War, in 1996, we decided to go to the Olympics in Atlanta to represent our country. There was no food, there was no transportation, there was nothing in Monrovia. Guns were firing everywhere. It was Charles Taylor versus Roosevelt Johnson at the time. And we used to walk to go to the Anthony Tubman Stadium. I had to search the whole of Monrovia. I went as far as the Nigeria Embassy, walked from Lockingtown to Nigeria Embassy to find the Secretary General of the Olympic Committee, Mr. Marcel Biden, at the time. When I found him, I told him, I said, we want to go to the Olympic. He said, war fighting, you can't go to the Olympic. I said, no, sports stop war. War doesn't stop sport. He said, okay, I will give you the number to call. He gave me the number. I walked from the Nigeria Embassy all the way to Lockingtown on the Coast Guard base where the ECMO were. My last $70 US I had in my pocket. That why I paid the ECOMO to make that one call to
God
Switzerland.
bless you. God bless you.
Yeah.
So go, brother.
I
So
made the
go.
call. In fact, when I got to the main entrance, the ECOMO put a gun to my neck. What you can't do here, you rebel. You know, they call rebel.
Yeah.
What you can't do here, you rebel. I said, I'm not rebel. If I rebel, I will not come to the main gate. I will jump over the fence.
So go. So go.
Yes, sir.
So go. God bless you, because it takes people like you, because all of us have to make sacrifice for our country, and I'm so happy we have. You know,
Thank you, sir.
you remember the Olympics in Spain? The one in
Yes.
Spain that we had no athlete and the war was blazing.
Yes.
One of my friends who played the national basketball team, his sister, Dr. Johnson's daughter, that girl paid her own way to Spain and went to the Olympic Committee, got it, and carried the Liberian flag. So Liberia was beating the Olympics.
Blessed to her.
Yes.
So, as I said, Mr. Wadsworth, the ECOMO, they wanted to shoot me. I said, but if you want to kill me, you can kill me. My country comes first. I want to ask your indulgence to please allow me to make them one call. They said I should pay $70 to make that 1 minute call. I took my full money and gave it to the ECOMO. And they allowed me to make that one call, and the lady picked up the phone in Lausanne, Switzerland. She said, what can I do for you? I said, this is the Olympic team coach, Mr. Coach Kevin Soko. We want to go to the Olympic, but no flight coming to Monrovia. No flight coming to Monrovia, and the athletes are stranded. She said, okay, what can I do for you? I said, can you give her a referral? She said, okay, I will refer you to French Ivory Coast. I said, no, we don't speak French. We speak English. Can you refer us to British Sierra Leone? She said, okay, I will refer you to British Sierra Leone, but you got to get there by yourself to get your visa. That I accepted. I called a meeting. All the athletes came at the Anthony Tubman Stadium. I told them, I said, hey, we're going to the Olympic. The reason why we are going to the Olympic, war is fighting. The whole world have forgotten about Liberia. And we are going to this Atlanta Olympic to put the Liberian flag up. So on the march we go. No food, no money, let's go. And y'all meet me in Sierra Leone, in Freetown. Almost 50 athletes gathered in Freetown. We were in Freetown, no food to eat, no money. We were just there, like the children of Israel. We were just there. But as God will have it, one of the athletes that I sent to the Los Angeles Olympic in 1984, Hassan Tor, he was there in Freetown. He heard about us on the radio, and he found us at the hotel. He said, Coach, I've been looking for y'all. I said, yeah, we are, Hassan. He said, okay, I have something for y'all. He took, I think, about 11,000 Leon and gave it to me. So I called the athlete. I said, you know why? Liberia comes first. This money, we're not going to eat it. The chairman said, Mr. Koisoko, if you don't give us that money, we'll deal with you here. I said, you know why? The Sierra Leoneans are barring us from going upstairs to meet the visa counselor. And this weekend, the embassy will be closing. And the visa counselor is leaving the country. So if we don't do something, it will be no more Olympic for us. So let's do something. I will take this money. The security at that gate, at the embassy that's stopping us, I will give this money to every one of them, and I will get us there. I told her, I said, your march behind me. We will sing the song, We Shall Overcome. The song that we sang 1979 to beat Benedict Wieser School Charlottetown on our final day. BWI Tiger. You remember that game? I was playing.
Okay, let me
I played number 3. So this is very interesting. Tomalin, y'all give me chance. Let me talk.
Let me finish.
Okay. Yeah. I told the children, I said, y'all walk behind me. And if you are in Monrovia, your own Hassan Kiawu, who is in Monrovia now, he was on that team as well. The athletes began to walk behind me. We started walking, singing, We Shall Overcome. The Sierra Leoneans wanted to beat us. They said, we are rebel. And I said, you don't touch these children. You don't touch these athletes. If you want to do anything, you do it to me. If you want to kill me here in the street of Freetown, you killed me. I brought these children in here. And we are going to that embassy to go get our visa. Oh, everyone of you can get visa at the embassy, you foreigner guys? I say, yes. God's willing, we get our visa today. We sang the song, we got to the gate of the embassy in Freetown. I took that money, I started giving it to each one of those security. As I gave it to this other one, he said, hey, go see that man. I started giving it to them until all the 11,000 Leon, we didn't eat a dime from there. I got upstairs. The visa counselor, she was about to go to her last meeting before she takes off. I did the William V.S. Todman star, the white handkerchief. I took it from my pocket. I did it like this. And the woman saw the white handkerchief spinning. So she came, she did a cutting that day. She said, what do you want? I said, we are here for our visa. She said, how many of you? I said, go to your window and look down under the cotton tree. You'll see the children there. She said, but some group came here with a light-skinned man called Baitin. They got their visa. They have gone already last week. I said, no, that's not the team. Yeah, my team also there. She said, okay, give me your passport. I gave her my passport. She stamped it quick with the American visa. She said, okay, go now. Let the other people stay. I gave my passport right back to her. She said, what you get a passport to me for? I said, I can't go and leave the children here. If that is the case, take your visa from my passport. She said she had never seen anybody since she's been working at that embassy for more than 20 years to tell her, take your visa from my passport. I said, I will do it today. Take your visa from my passport. I'm not leaving any of those children outside there. So she said, let me see those children. She opened the curtain, almost 35 athletes standing under that curtain tree. She came outside. She said, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. She said, okay, let them come upstairs. Let them come upstairs. All those children came upstairs. I said, these are the children. So she stamped one of the passport. She said, okay, you can go now. I said, we're not going. We're not going. She said, okay, what can I do? I got my meeting to go to. I said, stamp all these passports. Otherwise, you can take my passport and take your visa from in it. She said, okay, just give me that. I put all those passports under the window. The woman said, I can't do this. I said, you have to do it, ma'am. We are going to the Olympic. It's not a pride for us to go to the Olympic and go play. We are going to put our country flag up because the world have forgotten about Liberia. The first passport she took was the statistician. He's in North Carolina now. When she opened the passport, no head. The water spoiled all the passport. She said, I can't stamp this passport. I don't see the face. I don't see anything. I told her, I said, ma'am, you have to stamp this passport. You have to stamp it. We're fighting war. And maybe he may have fallen in the swamp and the water damaged his passport. You have to stamp the passport. She said, Kevin, I've never seen anybody like you. She stamped it. Then the man who's supposed to help me now to put the other passport under the window, he went wrong outside. With no face.
Got a lot of cover.
Yeah, I come in to conclude now. I come in to conclude. Yeah,
please, I beg you.
I must say, So she stamped the passport, and all the other children, almost 35 athletes, we were able to come here to the 1996 Olympics. To represent our country. And
well done, my man. Well done.
Thank you so much.
I said we were going to Atlanta to put our country flag up because the world have forgotten about Liberia.
We need that.
As a patriotic
okay, let me say this. You know, because of time, please.
Go ahead. I just wanted to get that piece.
2 minutes, right? 2 minutes so everybody can tip out. We'll even want to some calls and all.
I just wanted to get that little piece to you guys.
Yeah.
So let our young
that was courageous. That was very courageous.
We have made sacrifices for our country, including gun to our neck.
That's good. Thank you, man. Thank you.
That's courageous, and I want to appreciate all. Like I said again,
thank you very much,
You guys did well for the country. We thank you. But today, one of really Liberians they are asking, why is our soccer, our basketball, our track and field thing at its lowest ebb today? So, like for instance, one of the things people are asking, Mr. Wisse, you guys, somebody mentioned about Dubai USA. I remember that was a very good a program you guys started, even though it was in line with LEC, the Simple Hydro tournament that used to go on. But many people thought, back in the days in Liberia, we thought when you guys were organizing the Barrow IEG in America, will raise funds to help the people back home. But today, some of our great soccer legend, basketball legend. Today, you go to Morovia, they are ailing, they are not well, and they are struggling. And some of you guys are privileged to come to the States to go to school and improve yourself. And today, but we talk about the athlete reunion. I wonder what's the status of it too. But with the Barrow IE game, all these things, what can you guys do to organize at least to say, look, come together here, let us organize programs so we can take back home and try to help our people? Because today, young people, I bet if I call some people like the guys who are in the terrace today to come ask who is behind the wizard, say, I know him. Who child was, I know them. Who to you, Harry? Because if they didn't see you guys play, and then there's no historical stuff to say, people can go and read and learn from you. Say, oh, these were the great, that we read about all the great players then, or so forth, about Poku then, all these guys then. But Liberia don't forget, we remember the United Nations, the OAU, the African Union, ECOWAS. We came through all these institutions, organizations, but yet and still today, where we are. As I said again, the only person people in talk about Liberia soccer, they cover George Weah, because he conquered the world of sport that a year, 1994, I think, and he won all the awards at one point in time. Today, he stands as the only African player to have won all these awards. But yet and still, but before I end, I remember when in Liberia, I asked the person was talking about, I think Ben was there. We were having a discussion. We played basketball with the president that morning after the basketball. We were talking about sports. And he said, oh, Tomalin, the only reason why, you see, if you notice what I'm doing, back in our days, we know how to play soccer. We were playing all around over. That's why I started to focus on getting stadiums, football pitch all around the country so that people can have an opportunity to play in a good facility. And that was a good idea, okay? But Mr. We said, tell us where we are today and how can we get from where we are today for the future? Just tell us in 3 minutes, please.
Good question.
Well, as I said earlier, you cannot develop sports without first addressing the issue of infrastructure. You have to have an improved infrastructure of anything before you can move forward to achievement. When I started playing, 1976, started with Batman.
Wow.
By the time I went on the national team, the president then, President Todbert, had made it possible for every athlete who was playing for the Lone Star to be paid $25 a month. Okay, then $50. Then it went to $125. Okay, wow. A month. Okay, a month. And my unit at that time, Lone Star had not been doing well. Okay, so when we got on the national team, okay, with all the incentives, okay, and with the news of the stadium that is there right now, the SKD Stadium, President Toba was responsible for that stadium being there.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah.
He built
that?
Yes. You know,
Yeah,
there is.
He broke ground.
Even the gymnasium should have been a 10,000 seat gymnasium.
Yeah, that broke ground. I forget it. I better to become myself.
Okay. He negotiated with the Chinese government. Okay, at the time, China was trying to break into Africa. Okay, so they were going around Africa constructing stadiums here and there, including Sierra Leone. Okay, so President Toba in 1978 signed a contract with the Chinese government to construct that stadium. And preliminary the construction work had begun when the coup took place.
Oh, really?
Wow. And suddenly people saw stadium there. They came to the conclusion that it is Samuel Dowu Bere.
No.
Though did not. Okay. So now, at the time the stadium was under construction, I was living the dream of playing on a big stadium because at that time we had gone to Sierra Leone, played there. and performance had different dimension to it. Okay, so I was looking forward to that stadium. Now, coming back to the incentive issue, okay, and the infrastructure. Okay, the president at the time made sure that we had a bus that pick up players from Newtown all the way down to the Anthony Thomas Stadium to go to practice. Okay, and the bus came back after practice and took players back to their respective destinations. Okay, so when you are on a thing there and receiving money, obviously you will play hard to remain on the team. Okay, it will be your determination to make sure that even if you went against a foreign team, you will do much better. So, you know, as I said earlier, there's not a magic wand that somebody can come away and say, this is what we would do. And after we have done it, you know, everything will be what we want. Okay. And somebody earlier mentioned that we don't have this kind of community competitions that we had in the 70s, in the 80s, where you had teams from West Point, teams from Newtown, teams from Clarendon, Cinco, every Sunday, drawing more than 1,000 spectators at a game at the FE if ABC was playing. Okay, so you have to first have the talents on the ground with young people before you can move forward to development. Now, in Liberia right now, I don't know the past 20 years, I don't know what has been done to improve sports in the country, except we see coaches coming in. Yeah, one of the things is that they hiring coaches. We put too much trust in foreigners coming in the country to coach the national team. Okay, it is my belief that you have a local coach who understands the psychology of the players. That makes it easier for both to work together and do better for the sports. Liberia has a long way to go. For if we were to say, let's say all the things were there, okay. If you have a college or schools, you must have teachers and you must have students. And when you have the students, you must have the teachers to teach the students. Then in Liberia, we have the players, but we don't have the coaches in the counties. Okay, each county is supposed to have a team. We're supposed to have football programs, basketball programs there with coaches that will train these guys. Just the same thing that we experience here.
Yeah, Ben. You know, there was a Moroya City team in the 50s and the 60s. Besides the IE and Barrow, they had a Moroya City team. I have a photograph of them too.
Okay, you know, so you know, we have to start from the counties. Have run programs in the counties, Crocus, Cape Man, Maryland. You know, have 2, 3, or 4 teams. Have a league, the regional league. You develop players that will come alone and make it on a national team. But everything in Liberia, it seems it has been for the country. Only things that happen in Monrovia, everybody believes it is Liberia. So we have to diversify our effort by moving into the counties, in the villages, and try to recruit players.
Welcome, Kajebo, one of Liberia's soccer legends, one of Liberia's greatest soccer player from IE and Lone Star. I think he ended in playing professional football, if I'm not mistaken, in Germany, I think.
France.
But in France, right? Yeah, France. I remember France. And so, when we talk about players on the extreme, on the number 7, these guys were Kajebo, Benedict Wisse, Waka Heron, all these guys. These guys play great soccer. You know, as I said, during that time, They play for love of the game and love of country, and they were into the money aspect and so forth. So when it went away, they came to say, well, let me go to school, and they decided to go to school and get a career. That was today. Most of the guys that came in the 80s, they started in the 80s. Most of the guys that came, they are all career professionals in their own area of discipline. But again, Carl, welcome, and Chairman Sanvee, you guys contribute. I mean, I know you listen to history today.
Thank you,
That's what I want to do. I don't really have.
Because look, I've been enjoying you. People are testing me, and people are praying that you guys will do this again. But we are enjoying you.
We need to do it every Sunday.
Yeah, I don't really have a question. I'm more trying to learn here. I mean, like you rightly said, Tomalin,
but SKD, I don't you, Ben.
First of all, yeah, the SKD thing I didn't even know. I don't
October, you know.
Yeah, I don't even. I've heard some of the names. I know I've heard Carl Diabo name before. I've never seen him before. I'm gonna tell you about him. So he ain't playing no football. He was not no professional footballer. He was a basketballer. But let me just say this. I want to know, like you rightly said, Tomalin, because this has always been my concern. And I think you remember that day we talked about it when we were with the former president. And I want to ask them, and I think it's a similar question that you asked earlier. The issue of, because for some reason we just think this thing is going to happen magically. This notion we have in Liberia that even the George Weah 11 that almost went to the World Cup, right? It was deliberate and intentional actions that got them to get to that place. It was the support. It was the discipline. It was, I'm sure they didn't have it all rosy, but it was discipline. It was support. There's several things that needs to happen for these things to happen. We in Liberia, when we see these teams, we see the Ivory Coast, we see all these African countries doing well, we just think that they just happen. We don't invest, and we expect these things to happen, right? I want to ask you guys, is there any hope for football in Liberia? Just a blanket question. Is there any hope? Because it's almost like a roller coaster, right? Sometimes we see them, they do well, we get excited, then they beat them, then we're like, oh God, Lone Star on bad, our own God. What needs to happen from a support standpoint? Where will you say needs to be invested in soccer to get us back to the glory days and even better? And anybody can answer it.
Yeah. Timothy, can I address that point?
Yeah, come
in. Good evening, everybody, or afternoon on your end. Like you said, my name is Kyle Jeb. I live in the UK, London. I play for IE and Lone Star as well. If you look at sports, the only way we can rejuvenate our sports, not only football, is the administrators to be aware of the game, to know it, not only practically, but the theoretical way too. What get Liberia football to die down is because we don't have a sport development program. People don't understand when they say sports development. It's not a player, it's the sport, the development of the sport. Look at the definition. Sports development. That is, you need to have the high school league, the college league, the junior high league, the Nickelton league, the Pro league, and decentralize the game in the counties. I was started from Beaumont. I didn't grow up in Beaumont, in Monrovia. I was started from Beaumont, playing in the Beaumont league, and it took me to IE to play for IE, and eventually I played for Lone Star. So we need to decentralize sports in Liberia, not only in Monrovia. And there's no classification of players. Now you can be 50, you play in the third division league. So if you're 50 years old and playing the third division, where do we recruit our national team players when they're supposed to come from the third division? So there's no classification. Everybody playing the ages between 16, 17, 18 supposed to be playing the third division. And another thing that gets Liberian football dying down is there's no rivalry. There's no rivalry in our first division team in Liberia today. Like those days, you used to have IE and Barrow.
Yeah.
Even though I was playing top football in Beaumont, but my idea is to play for IE or Barrow. That was the resume to play on the national team. That was only way because I wanted to pick all the best players. And when those two teams playing, the country is on fire. Another thing I blame on the direction of the game is the media, the sport, the TV, the television, like you people, because you don't talk about the game. The game is intertwined with spectators, with broadcasting. Those days when I and Barrow playing, they will start announcing the game on national radio for Monday, and they'll be calling Mama Musa going against the person. Then people will start getting prepared, getting the money together to go to the game in group. You see, so all these things are missing. Until we can bring those things back, it will be hard for our football to develop. And people go because I did my assignment. Why encourage people to go to the game? Like I said, sport is intertwined with spectators. You can't do sport without spectators. The players will be at their best when the stadium is jam-packed. The play style, you don't know where it comes from. It's spiritual. Mama Musa will tell you. When the stadium is packed, you motivated, you do things you never dream about because the people cheering you. So the little ones today, they go on the field, nobody to watch them, they discourage. Nobody will tell me, say, Labrio don't have players in Labrio now. Do. If we can produce the best player of Africa in Liberia, there's more there that need to be developed, to be discovered and developed. So we need to understand these things. A robust sport development program, the high school league, the Nicrutan league, Point 4 league, Waterside league, 12 league. So that player will know. And then we need to bring that rivalry back. If we can't get Ayi and Barrow back, Liberia football will not develop. In Europe, yeah, they get in Barcelona, in Spain, they get Real Madrid and Barcelona. Even though they got other top clubs, but they take their best player for those two teams. The same in UK here. The two teams, the best player come from the team. So people say facility. There's no data. There's no record what best players come because they got facility. Else UK who have won the champion, the Premier League, the World Cup, everything because they got facility. Mama Musa play in the same, he became best player. Georgia play in the more, he became the best player. It's not about facilities. All the love of the game. And to reach to Iron Barrow, that how we're working hard. As the team probably 90 minutes, I'll go 30 minutes on my own to train because I want to play tomorrow bet to join IE or Barrow. Until our administrator can understand these things, it will take a long way to get there. So we need a robust sport development program. So that will start bringing the youth up, because you can't be in the 30s or in your 40s and be playing the third division. So what do we recruit the national team from for the next 2-3 years when they all come from the third division? See, that's the problem. The people need to understand this thing of robust sport development, sport in the community. Those days when they had some top player in the Nicrutan League that never played ATS fee, but they were star player around town. It's in with 12th Street. It's in with Nippo Street. There must be classification.
Thank you.
But anybody play county me today, you qualify to play in the national team. No, you are not being through the test.
So, but Mr. Jebo, I beg you, I won't lose this thought. These leagues you're talking about, Nicrutan League, 12th Street League, but this is not from government, right?
Yeah, no.
Are you speaking to the population that we need to, because I think people can organize these things. Can
I speak to that too?
Ben, let me tell you in a minute. It's the community.
Okay.
It's the community.
Thank you.
I want you guys to understand this. LFA is not under the government. It's a different entity owned and run by the Football Association, FIFA.
Yes.
Yes. So they got nothing to do with the Premier League in the country. The only people they're responsible for is the national team. But the Premier League, the LFA League is for FIFA. So FIFA giving them money for sport development every year.
Yeah.
So they're supposed to
I want to say FIFA gave almost $1 million to LFA. But so I mean,
may I piggyback on what
this league you're talking about? All these
Mr. Wadsworth.
Mr.
Wadsworth, before you come in, let me just buttress what my alma mater colleague. So how you doing? Long time, man. Okay. One thing I want to mention here is that sponsorship and incentives for the player is very, very important. I play sport. I can remember going many, many times with all food, going to practice just to make myself get to where I wanted to get.
Yes.
Sponsorship and incentive. Incentive is government stipend or government payroll, like what Samuel Kanyado did for us.
Mm-hmm.
And then sponsorship from companies, businesses, etc., etc. We can't go to the stadium clapping for the players when they lose the game. We hold our pocket. My man don't come behind me. I will not give you 5 cents. You'll spoil the game, But when you get a sponsorship like a Jetty Corporation, like a Stalameter, etc., that can be permanent. When you sign a little contract, you'll carry the logo on your T-shirt. Yeah, because I can remember I was able to approach Nike in Oregon. I called them. I approached them to sponsor Liberia. And I told them, I said, don't you know that we are the second largest rubber producing country in the world to Malaysia? They said, no, we don't know. I said, yes, we are. We are right there on the west coast of Africa, Liberia. And there's a little place there called Firestone. Can you guys do this? And they told me to call them back. But guess what happened, guys? Look, guys, Nike, they Google Liberia. That was the same week people put fire on Calando gas station. Remember that?
Oh yes, I remember. Yes.
Yes. And the guys told me, no, we can't carry our glass business to that country.
Wow.
Secondly, 2000, I approached Walmart through my mentor here for Walmart to sponsor Liberia track team. I said, first of all, they should go to Liberia and get the track team from Liberia and bring them here to this city. And they will stay here and train in Madison, Wisconsin. At the time, I was coaching at the college. The college accepted. I went to the mayor of the city. The mayor of the city accepted. I went to the governor. The governor accepted to bring the Liberia track team here to train in the city and go to the Olympics. We wrote the communication because Walmart had agreed that they were going to send a jet plane, charter jet plane, to Liberia and get the athlete. And my mentor, old man Coach Fred Williams, who is the best friend of Sam Warden of Walmart.
Walmart, yeah.
Yes. He said that, Kevin, this thing here, if it comes to fruition, me and my wife, we just want to sit to the last 2 seats. You can carry all the other seats, and I want to follow behind you to your country. We wrote that letter. We sent it to the Ministry of Youth and Sports in a complete package, everything. The people in the city here were very, very excited. And they told me, say, Kevin, when the athletes come, we don't want them to go in dormitory or in a hotel. We want to distribute them in the community to our houses so they can acculturate with our children. Learn your culture and like that. And when they come from the Olympics, they will come right back here. We buy them gift and we pay the school fee in Liberia. We were very excited. When that letter got to Ministry of Youth and Sports, one morning I was lying down, a phone call came from Ministry of Youth and Sports. I pick up the phone. They say, Coach Soko, yes, this is Mr. SY, and we just called to let you know that we received the letter, but this is what we can do. Please tell the Walmart Corporation the money they got to charter the plane, let them send it here, we'll know what to do.
Let me
let me push the one through. I don't want to call it corruption. Okay, I don't want to call it corruption. All right. And that's why I've been biting our sport to the back. Okay. And that was the end of it. I told them no.
You from
Walmart
Wisconsin?
cannot send money to you to charter a whole jet plane. They must send the money to Liberia. Ministry of Youth and Sport will know what to do, and that was the end of it.
But you know, there was a collaboration between the Liberia before in the 70s or early 70s, late 60s, collaboration between Liberia and Benoit College from Wisconsin, Madison. They got on the loaner, Coach Philip Robinson. He went there for a year and coached the college through the Liberia Sports Commission. So you see the collaboration, you can collaborate been going on. But what Mr. Sanvee was asking, and Mr. Carr Jabo, he eloquently said concerning the teams from the different neighborhoods. You know, most people in Liberia talk about, oh, we need to build academy, we need to build football academy, this academy. How many of our athletes from academy? We had incidental academy. That's what Carr Jabo was talking about. All the different leagues in the Clarendon. I play soccer too. I play with Anthony Graves, Sakpak, Santos Maria. All of us play over there, you know. And as Kai said, we need a developmental program, and we have to start from the different ages. And one thing I was seeing on basketball, what we need to do, we need to build community centers.
Yeah.
And these community centers will be multi-purpose centers, where you will have not only basketball, the community will have constructive engagement with the kids, where we teach the kids all kinds of skills, life skills, besides sports skills. You know, we need all these community centers in the different areas. You know, I coach here. I've coached high school, middle school too. I coach in the Boys and Girls Club through basketball and soccer in high school. So I'm as I told you guys earlier, I'm an educator. I've been in education forever. But we need to stratify, just as you were talking about, Kai. We need to have the different age levels. We need the community got to be more involved, because all the teams were supported by the community. Let us look at the Liberia Football Association.
Yeah.
Who knows when the Football Association was founded? The Liberia Football Association was founded in 1936. And you know, sometimes people say, oh, only Gronabo played for. That's a lie. Mac Deshe was president of LFA before too. They all played. I have a picture. The oldest soccer picture that I have is Liberia College soccer team. It's more than this picture is almost 90 years old. With old man Nathan, the mayor of the city, former mayor of the city, Nathan Ross. He's the only person I know on that picture, because I got it from his son. So they have been having organized community leagues, and these broad feeders. I remember there was my time in my neighborhood where the community supported our teams. They bought our uniforms. They bought the soccer ball. They had to say, we didn't play in stadiums and stuff. We played in the beach. We play on the rocks. If you would play a coconut plantation that produced a lot of players. And one time I told George Weah and Salisa, way before they came to New York, they came from Paris to play our team. Ben can tell you, while the old time I was the goalkeeper. So I didn't know where they came from. So after first I asked them, and they said, well, we know you. So I was telling them, I said, you see your time, the Lone Star, I've been following you. You got only about 3-star players. So now they both 4-3. But the Lone Star team of the 60s and the 70s, every position had a star. If you got somebody from the bench and put it on the field, you will not tell the difference. We talk about dribblers, we have strikers, and all these people came from the community, the different league. Clarendon had a very strong league where all the guys who play for IE, Barrow, Babes, and Joseph, they all play in that league. Yeah. And you guys have ever heard about a guy called PSG. He had a league for us, who are the younger children. And I'm talking about Jericho, all of our kids then. Frank Jericho, Anthony Gray.
Let me
Mr. Washwa.
Yeah.
Mr. Washwa.
Let me just throw something in quickly, okay?
Yeah.
Let me say, okay, first of all, guys, you know, we have we're having a very important discussion. People are watching, people are texting me, people are impressed, they're hearing. But now what they are saying is that Tomalin, we're hearing great ideas about disposal in Liberia. Now we have a new government in place. The Minister of Youth and Sport was just nominated. Somebody that we all know, that I know personally. Ben knows him well, and I'm telling him too that we have a program where we invite him. You guys will come, but they want you guys to put these things into some, like to reduce it into some a posted document of a waste of time, but to come up with these ideas so that it can help our sports. Because look, like Kajabo said something important. Back in the days when I remember people fought to for this round town league. If you play for Ayo Barrow, I mean you nothing. People they were having competition to reach that point. High school league and stuff, the round town league. People fight to play for these teams and so forth. They have a great team like I see that Bame, all these things, by Jeneke and you name them. But today we are at this point. So how you guys can do it? Before I finish,
Yeah,
you guys started.
Someone, I want to ask a question.
One minute. You guys started with this IE Barrow in America here. But I think they say politics. But when I came the first time I came to America, I never forget that game. You gotta admit, one time they played the game, the list suburb there, after the game, you guys were checking the money. $1,000 for that game. So we helped the team Liberia. But today, I remember there were times in Liberia before I came to the States where Barrow IE player go to ATS with no boots, no money, no boots. And they went down. And lastly, before you guys go tonight, you're who the older guys here. You tell me the myth about this Wani Boto story. Liberia want to hear Wani Boto story. What are the story?
Thank you for asking this question. I keep trying to ask this question.
Yeah,
I keep trying to ask this question. Let's Mr. Soko, hold on one second. I really want to get this.
When you're myth, because they say you're in a hospital, you're leading Liberia.
If you hold on, please, 1 second. I really want to get in.
I mean, you told that story today before you leave the platform, please.
Yeah, give me a second. Just let us get into this Wani Boto story here, please, and then we'll bring you in on that right after that, please. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Wani Boto, that true story?
Mr. Jebo. You play soccer.
I will not speak on the Wani Boto story, Mr. Ben.
I think Walter will speak on that, and
yeah.
My brother will speak on that.
Ben will speak on it. I just want to talk about the
welcome, Honorable Senator Joseph is watching the show. Senator welcome, Senator Joseph. Welcome, Honorable Joseph. Thank you, guys. Go ahead.
You see the Wani Boto story got all.
Tomalin,
yeah, go
ahead. My colleague, the panelists, football has become a business, sports in general.
It always been.
So in that direction, in Liberia, it must be treated as a sport module in Liberia. The same way you do your business, the same way you must do sports. Do discount, publicity, awareness, so people buy your goods. Those are all lacking in football in Liberia.
Thank you.
That's why there's no supporter. That's why there's no customers.
No marketing.
And to do these things, the administrators need to define where attract people to football games to bring people back to the game. You know? I mean? So if you divine it and divine it understands it, people go to the game because they want to see their best player, James Alisa Diba, George Weah, Brandon Wisse. That's why they go to the game.
You're right.
People go there because their father, their grandparents were members of that game. People go there to meet their girlfriends, their workmates. There are a lot of things that attract people to the game. I remember when we were playing, I am Barrow playing. Some people go to the game, they will not watch the game itself. They will be beyond there, associating, eating fried fish, drinking beer until somebody who score okay. They will not watch the game, just association.
You want to you beat Barrow 1 time, 2 value. Let me tell you the truth.
So there's a lot of things missing in the game.
But you see,
the administrator need to understand these things, where attract people to events, to games, to bring the spectator by. If they have the people go there to drink beer, get beer on the field, get music, get food, attract people. Advertise the game before the whole week. On the radio, I am Barrows, he doesn't display. Make the awareness. That's the business aspect of it. So when the team start playing, you come in. When the people start playing farm football, the businesses, the how you call it, the cement factory, they will want IE to wear their logo so that people will know about them.
But let me tell you a joke.
So this is how business can work. You have to create the environment to invite the investors.
God, there's a factual joke. You talk about, but because you're talking about the marketing aspect of
it as well.
Yeah, and I agree with you. You know,
because we need to pay the player. We need to raise money to pay the players.
I think this must have been 66 or 67. IE won a championship, and the trophy was given by the beer factory. And that time they sold Guinness. You know how many cases of Guinness they gave IE? 10 cases of Guinness to IE. Imagine alcohol, big alcohol with that. Look, there's a whole that come back to the Wanibo story.
Let me finish my topic before you can there. It will be the last story. Okay. What many people were attracted to IE and Barrow those days, especially for IE, because we believe when you play for IE, it was a possibility for you to have scholarship to go to America. Mm-hmm. So most of us migrated to IE because we wanted to go to America. If you play for IE was the, I don't want to say,
but Bible, let's go there.
I don't want to say elite team when you play for IE, the beautiful girls, the beautiful people. We're not there, but when you walk in the street, you'll see IE promoter will get you $10, $25. So players who play in the second, third division were fighting to get to that level. You hear me? So we need to bring that rivalry back in our football. It's every country. We have Madrid and Barcelona. You got in here Manchester and Manchester City. Those are rivalry. When they're playing, people play, they watch the game all over the country. So until we bring that rivalry, we'll not have the classification of players. We'll not have the best players because players got to work to that level to play for that best team, to play for the national team. So our administration need to understand these things. Of robust sports development program. You have the high school league, you have the college league, you have the community league, you have the county league, you have league in the county. Then you create a lot of plenty players. Then you can select from more than 1 million players. But you just have one league in Monrovia, you got few players. You will not be able to discover good players. So we need a very robust sport program, sport development program.
Thank you.
That's the best solution.
Thank you.
Waniboto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you want to go first?
Before we go to Waniboto, I beg you guys. I just somebody texted me something just now. And I feel I should.
Can you just hold that to this Waniboto story?
No, the Waniboto can be the last.
Let it go ahead.
It can end because this is. I know the Waniboto thing. Everybody want.
Yeah.
We want to know. I want to know something from you guys, because what I've seen happen over the years when it comes to different issues in our country, it's almost like we always lecture about it, laugh about it, talk about it, highlight the issues, and then what next, right? It's like, what next? Certainly, I'm listening to all of you. I hear the passion in your voice. You want to see us get back to where we were or even better, because that will even cement your respective legacies, right? I want to ask you guys directly, what role, and I listen to Mr. Soko, and my heart breaks when I hear the story he just explained, right? Because it is typical of Liberia, where we drop the ball when opportunities come our way. My question to each of you on this show, what do you think can happen? What role you think you can play in getting us back, getting these things that you're talking about here? What role can you play? How can you inspire the next generation? We have a whole generation of Liberians now who, somebody said it on the thing, that interested more in politics. They sit at intellectual Atai centers all day. Politics now is like a way of life. Everybody aspiring to work in government. People go to school. The only thing they're thinking about is, you don't want to run for representative. I'm waiting. Like right now, the whole country is on a standstill, watching the executive management website to see who's going to get employed, right? Or who's going to get nominated. And because maybe when somebody get nominated, somebody will find a small office job in the ministry. What role can you guys play? Because like you rightly said, there's a marketing aspect to sport. And I think we have not we haven't taken advantage of the benefits that we have. Pray God tell me Liberia produced the only African player till date who has won the world best thing. There's a lot
we got more there. That means
yeah,
more.
there's a lot of benefit I think that we can maximize, right? So my last thing, so that's the question. My question is what you guys can individually do. Look at Rwanda. The NBA Africa is in Rwanda.
Thank you.
NBA Africa is in Rwanda. Do you know how many jobs have gone to Rwanda just because of that? What role can you guys play in helping? Is this a government issue? Is this, I'm just trying to figure out how can we get from this place we are to where we want to be? How can we even start that conversation?
Yeah, Ben Sanvee, can I come in?
Yes.
Picking Jabo, let me talk.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah,
Doctor, you in London, man.
You are right. I was in Kenya in 1988. This promotion, marketing of sports came about, and that was the time Nike introduced the space suit running.
Don't miss the topic.
The space suit, the tight suit to run in. And the IAAF rejected, but then the Student Commission on Sport, led by Edwin Mose, they wrote a letter and appealed to the IAAF that we want to rebrand the sport. We want to rebrand the sport. We got to recalibrate because footballers are earning millions of dollars, and track athletes, you all say that we should just run for the glory of the sport and for peace promotion worldwide. But things are changing, so we want to change the sport. That's when they started to do the worldwide promotion. So here in Wisconsin, you see the hat on my head. There's a University of Wisconsin cap. The company that produces this cap, they pay X amount of dollars to the University of Wisconsin because that's a trademark. The t-shirts, they pay X amount of dollars to University of Wisconsin. The shorts, the basketball, the everything. And then all sports, all level of sports, from kids up to college level and the masters. Okay. That's how they make the millions of dollars. When I was the commissioner here, we used to sell about 50 to 60,000 t-shirts when we having games. And we report that money straight to the revenue account where it's supposed to go to. I've been to Liberia. I have asked the Minister of Youth and Sports for me to work with them as consultant on the track and field promotion program. But my goal has been to decentralize the sport. You can't do track and field only in Monrovia.
Agreed.
And when the time for county meet, the minister say no money for track and field. You guys can bear me. All of the county meet, they will say no money. 2019, I had to sponsor with few of my friends, Bill Roger and other people, the trophy that you guys saw at that stadium at SKD. We sent those trophies there. There was no trophy for track and field. What I'm trying to say is that we need sponsorship in Liberia sports. Sponsorship from companies, because the community is very dry. The unemployment rate is very high. So the community cannot sponsor a football team like Barrow, like before we used to do it that high. You know, we take our own money and spend it. So I'm asking the government or the Ministry of Youth and Sport to make sure that they ask this company, Jerry Corporation, Estera Mita, etc., to sponsor our teams.
And it could be part of the corporate social responsibility.
Yes, it is written. It is written.
I want to answer your question.
I have said that on numerous occasions, and the government should be able to give these athletes incentives. You can't pay one athlete $100 a month, then you want the gold medal from the Olympic. You want them to win the African Cup of Nations. That's not fair to the athlete.
Mr. Sanvee?
That's not fair to the athlete. So I'm appealing to the government of Liberia to put these athletes first because they are the future leaders. To give them incentive, they are the ambassador. When they go play, at least give them something at the end of the month.
Thank you,
and
Mr.
scholarships. Okay, scholarship. As Carl Jabo said, people were playing for IE to come to the diaspora. Difa were here a little bit. Some of us were playing to go to school. And thank God for BWR.
Give national national athletes
that's when Carl Jabo York came in. We brought you in at BWR on that steam.
Between you and myself, please.
Let me answer.
You my late brother now. I just want to tell everybody that I know what I'm talking about. Okay.
Let's take the service question.
Yeah, right. So that's what I'm saying. Incentive. Okay. Let the government pay the athletes. Let the government look for sponsorship for the athletes. It can't be community alone. It will fail because the unemployment rate is very, very high.
So let's get other people's view on that.
I will pause, but let it be company sponsorship.
Thank you.
Mr. Sanvee, you talk about what can we do personally to help the situation. For me, I think we all, not only government and private sector have to collaborate.
True.
Because people think collaboration is a bad word. We have to collaborate. That is what as I told you, maybe you were not on the show earlier, I said I'm an advisor to the Great Ball Players Association. We built a $17,000 basketball court in New Kutan. And we collaborated with the community from the scratch, from building the stuff from the ground up. Presently, we engaged in the construction of a $21,000 basketball facility in Gardnersville. That's our next project that we're working on. We all have to collaborate. The different associations. You can have the Sino County Association, the Maryland County Association. One time I got in touch with the people from Maryland. I said, help, let's build a court because we were having a tournament in Maryland. There was no court, fitting court. Maryland County, help, so we can build a court over there for the kids. Piggyback on what Soko said. I played on the national team. I was a self-supported student when I went to Cotton. Most of the people that I know. But how did I pay my school fee? With the per diem that I got from the government. That small money that Ben was talking about. That's not paying my school fee through our Cotton. But let me tell you what the government can do. All those who are playing on the national team, any national team, the government has the Ministry of Education. Give scholarship to everybody who play on the national team.
Let's take this thing down.
This is to show appreciation. We are not doing it. We have to, all the team. We have to collaborate the different groups. But one thing I would suggest, Ben, the present government, what they need to do besides the collaboration and reaching out, we gave an $8,000 scoreboard to the SKD gym, the basketball gym, electronic scoreboard, the first time in the history. What I expect for the present government to do is to call a national sports conference. And I talk about calling a national sports conference. Call a national sports conference. Invite people not only from basketball and football, invite people from track, bring people from the past, former national athlete. They have different associations and stuff. Invite them and come with an agenda and see how can we address this national issue. You know, for basketball, long ago they were decentralizing. We had the upcountry tournament, the upcountry basketball tournament. And that basketball tournament showcased a lot of talent that came from the Western region or Liberia. Those are the players that came from that era. A lot of talent. Some of them joined the national team. And just as Kai was saying, every time they had the up-country tournament, like in Banga was a central era, it generated economic activity for the people living in that area. It's the same thing the NCAA does here. Every year, every March Madness, they play in different regions and they produce millions of dollars in hotels, transportation, people buying food, the local economy. But we need a sports program where we will talk also about women participation, because the research has shown that girls who participate in organized sports, the likelihood for them getting pregnant is slim. And it increases people who are involved, the kids. It increases their academic performance, because it's not only our stuff with emphasis is not only on playing. The emphasis, look at one time there was a guy who made a comment about a footballer, and I got real mad with him. I got with him. He was talking about, the footballer was tough. They have college degree. I gave him instances of footballers who had college degrees, advanced degrees, and stuff. Our first national team, organized national team, played in 1954. Liberia's first pathologist came from that team, Dr. Brewer. He was a goalkeeper. And if you look at the national team, we have people, all of them were students, people with PhD masters. Look at my group. We got doctors that play national team. We got PhD chemistry, professor of chemistry. We have people, educators. We have ministers of the gospel, all because of the communal living through sports. So we need to have you guys who are the politicians. You tell those people in the different ministries, they have to collaborate with these people. They should not exclude the people from the diaspora. They should include the people in the diaspora and have a national sports conference where we can come together and see. You see that the problem with our whole country, we do not even have a national philosophy. So we don't know where we want to go. So we just swing things. You ask anybody about our core mission in Liberia, nobody can tell you. Sanvee, you're the politician, tell me. What is our national philosophy? What is our core mission, our core competence, what we want to do for our people, our educational system? You look at it, why are we sending students to school? For them to do what? For them to graduate and sit down and do nothing? Even our manpower planning, we don't have it. We have people, kids go to school, suffer, graduate from these universities, and no placement. They cannot even find work to do. Because we don't want to plan, we don't want to base our stuff on statistics, on records. We don't keep records. And we're talking about Baba Gay earlier. In 1969, Baba Gay was the MVP for the Liberian Football Association. He won the MVP. He was even MVP in high school too for Berea College and stuff. Wow. And a lot of people don't know, So there's a whole lot of stuff about our sports history. I told the guys who were doing the sports history, nobody contributed. I've been doing it on my own, spend my own money and stuff. This is thing that the government or the LFA, you come to us and say, look, guys, we can find a grant for you guys to write the sports history. Because we know where we're coming from. That's the reason why we don't know where we're going. They say if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there.
Yes. Wow. Look. We have over more than 2,000 people watching us across the country and abroad. This by way of information, this show tonight is a sponsored show. Somebody paid to have this show tonight, and somebody just said that they're going to sponsor another show of this again. And I'm telling you, hopefully next show we'll have. By that time, the new minister will be in his position. He will have been confirmed. We would like to invite him, the LFA president, the basketball president, all on this platform with you guys, and next time so that we can discuss these things in detail and the track and feed people, so we can have an agenda for like Mr. Watson just said. We can put our agenda for our country, because Liberia we are the lowest ebb in all sports right now.
Mr. Wisha, you want to speak?
Yes, Carl, you want to go first? Go.
No, you go first, big brother.
Okay. Now.
The man, I see him play you, eh? Oh.
Yeah.
I was seeing him play.
Even though he was a better player, according to what?
No.
Two number 7 talking. Two guys and watch them play 2 number 7.
Mr. Wisha when Lone Star went to Bomber to camp. I used to be your Jesse boy. You used to camp in Bomber. Wow. I saw all of you. That way I become a football.
Okay.
That Bomber produced a great James Washington. Remember how you do.
Lord.
Yeah, go ahead, Ben.
Ben Sanvee. Now, the question you asked, you began the question by saying Liberia produced the only player who has ever, the only African who has ever won all these things. Okay. That question, to start with that, I don't know where we will end with it, but you are talking about somebody who is a narcissist. I'm talking about Joshua.
Whoa.
Okay, whose focus is just about himself, who has a secret determination, despite the international recognition that he has. This man still finds himself insecure among other players, especially those who preceded him. Okay. Now, I will give you an example. When he was chairman of the Peace Commission, now I want for you to follow me because we are talking about things that we have to do to inspire other people to be committed footballers or committed athletes, basketball or whatever. Okay. There is a man who, as chairman of the Peace Commission, was giving government money. Okay, he was placed in that position and he said that he was going to use sports to bring peace to Liberia, to unify the country. What did he do? He brought in Roger Miller, Santo Maria and Roger Miller, the same age group. Okay, they belong in the same age group. He brought Roger Miller. Santos Maria was in Monrovia. He was never acknowledged. He was never invited to that game.
Who is Santa Maria? It's a Liberian player.
You don't know Santa Maria? Then you know.
I'm not a football fan. Sorry, I don't watch football. I'm just interested in.
Okay.
The first Liberian to play professional football.
Oh, okay. Okay, great.
I think he's
I'm learning. France. I'm learning tonight.
He lives in France, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Mr. We said.
And how he won championship with a youth team there in France. You were even given national recognition in France. Yeah, go ahead, Ben. Sorry.
Kofi Bruce, Jericho, Waka Heron, all those guys, they were in Monrovia. Okay. And not one of them was invited to that ceremony. Now, the title of the name of the game was what? Peace March. Okay, we are talking about peace among Liberians. Okay, and you brought a lot of guys who are legends in their own country, okay, to Liberia, and your own people, you forgot about them. Okay, so if I'm a young person, with a determination to be a national figure as an athlete, I must ask myself, is this how athletes are treated after they have gone out of the bright light?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then you come down to just recent time. Okay. Brought in foreign players to open a park somewhere in Cinco Cardinals, the IEO practice ground. Okay, again,
Invisible Park.
Yes. Again, no former players were invited. He opened a museum, but what you found there, only his jersey, his football boots, no other player. No other player. Then it comes to number 14, which unilaterally, okay, he retired.
And that was your
Okay.
number.
You know,
Okay.
so that is not an encouragement, you know, and I wrote about it. That is not an encouragement to the younger people watching. You know, so if we want our sports program to move forward, okay, it is not just about money. It has to be about certain things that will make an ordinary citizen who is a footballer to feel good about himself and the country. But
So I think
the men who play football, is somebody trying to say something?
I was just gonna.
Yeah. After you, Benedict, we said I'll come in.
Go ahead.
But I want Mr. Weaver to also answer the question of what.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. The question of what can
Okay,
you do?
I hear your. Mr. Soko, one second. Mr. Weaver, I come in. Sorry, let me just ask you quickly, George. I agree. I hear what you say about George. I hear that you're not the only person who has said.
No, we have 21 minutes. 21 minutes.
I want to know from you, Mr. Weaver, former player, legend in our history. What can you do now?
Player.
Yes. Yes.
What can you do now for us to move this needle? Because we can complain about what has happened in the past, but we are where we are today. And how can we move?
So I'm telling you,
is no longer in the way.
So I'm telling you that the aspect of recognition, okay, it has an important role to play in the psychology of young people to aspire to be footballers and basketballers and athletes in the country.
Okay, so your issue is recognition.
Okay, can I come in? Can I come in?
Let me come in. You just spoke. Let me come in, please. I won't be long. 2 minutes.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I will not speak on the blame game. I'll just talk about how we can get from here moving forward.
Thank you.
To address your question, Mr. Sanvee, I think you guys play an important role in the development of our sports in Liberia. You're the media people. People hear what you talk. What made football, the Premier League, to be popular? Because it's showing all over. So every game becomes a final game. Everybody want to watch it. Everybody in Liberia have a club in UK that they support. Another thing that we can play, another role we can play, we the former footballer, is to be around the leadership. We present ourselves, or we are presenting a role model for the young ones coming up. You can't get in administrator, Ben Sanvee, that will never play football. What role model he showed to the little one coming on? But if they see Benedict Whistle, who they heard about, never seen him before, and they see him leading, they will listen. They will be obedient. They will want to be the him, and that motivation will grow in them. I watched the Afghan game, the African Cup of Nations. I saw Eto, great player from Cameroon. They won their game, and he was shaking the young people. Tears came from my eye when they saw him. One bowed down before him to hug him, because the old player who made him before is identifying with them. So we need to get the old guys who play the game to be a motivator to the young ones coming out, to be around the game, to coach Ian Barrow, to be the sport director, to be the manager. When you see those people, it will motivate them to be like those people. But if we get Ben Sanvee, we never play football, just behind one bench, what Yeah, I mean,
that's an example.
It doesn't bring anything to so in basketball, in track and field. My man did track and field. He can go and manage it. When the young ones see him, they will remember his old days. He used to be a great runner. And, you know, so people who play sports should be the ones to run sports. You can't put people there who got no idea. I don't know who the sports minister now. I don't know. Like,
it's Bangalore, if he's confirmed. Bangalore.
What history does we know about in Liberian football?
No, but not only football now. Sports.
Yeah, but youth and sport is not limited to just soccer.
Oh, we just want to also welcome the vice president of the country. He just turned and watched this show, so we want to welcome Honorable Jeremiah.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, so I mean, if he sports, it's a good thing for us to get together, group together, and see how we can put a program together. And we need sport policy as well. The ministry to have sport policy that people will live by. And you need to write sport policy. When 18 years, every school supposed to have a football team in sport policy, because you can recruit. I remember we recruited Keff Hassan from Katura from the high school league. So from these different league, you can recruit players then and come on the national team.
That's where most of our players came from. He was talking about his uncle Sam Mazakwa and Abu Kamara.
Yeah,
Can I come in?
Community league.
Yeah, gentlemen. I just want to say that I want to categorically disassociate myself with the characterization of George Weah on this show by my own brother Benedict Wisa.
No, don't go there. You don't have to talk about it.
No,
just
let the man speak. That's right.
No.
You must not let him speak, guys. Everyone has the right to speak.
Sir, we're about to do our closing comments.
Let's get our closing comment, please.
Yeah, in 10 minutes.
Characterization of George Weah.
Let him man speak.
That's not the topic.
Hey, let him man speak.
No, but let him speak, Mr. Jabu. Let him speak. He has a right to his opinion.
I know what George Weah did as sports ambassador in Liberia, but I'm not going to that. This is what we did during the Civil War to bring peace to Liberia as track athlete. The United Nations has sent about 10,000 T-shirts to Liberia. They were stuck in Freetown, 1992. No way to bring them to Liberia. The ECOMOS ship had to bring them to Liberia. They were at the United Nations headquarters. This guy, Shane, they call him Shane. I think he's a French guy. He was on the UN humanitarian program. They came to the Ministry of Youth and Sport and they informed me. They said, look, we got 10,000 T-shirts. We want to give it out to offering and abandoned children. Or if you want to do anything in sport, it's up to you. Design something and bring it to us. So I sat down there. I said, we got to bring peace to this country. We got to bring peace to this country. So what we're going to do is to organize the first peace and unity run in Monrovia. And we're going to invite the peacekeepers to come and join us to compete in the peace race. Now, the difficult part about it was how to get the AFL guys to go across the bridge at the St. Mary's School to get the T-shirt, and the Prince Johnson IMPFF soldiers to come across the bridge to end the race at the Anthony Totman Stadium. It was a very difficult task. The AFL guys said I shouldn't go in the fence. I said I will go there. I went there secretly. I wore dirty jeans, They didn't even notice me. I went and collected the names of the athletes that we wanted to run from the AFL through an AFL guy called Jogging Ball. Then I went across the bridge. I went to the Prince Johnson camp. I discarded myself wool slippers. I organized myself properly. I went there. Some BWR guys were there. I took the names of all those Prince Johnson soldiers that went up for them to take part in the peace race.
Almost all the time,
now,
guys.
to go to the SKD complex, there were these child soldiers. They were camped there. And I sent a message that I'm coming there to recruit them. And they told me, say, Mr. Coach Soko, if you come here at this stadium, at the SKD stadium, we will slaughter you. I said I will come there.
Kevin,
yes, sir.
Is that topic going to improve sports in Liberia?
Yes. That's what we did to bring peace. And when Benedict talked about peace ambassador, no, I'm telling you what we did is track and field. You can't argue me. You can't argue me for that.
No, we're not talking about what you did for
I'm coming to that point. I'm coming to that point. But let me tell our audience what we did to bring peace as compared to what my brother Benedict said. Okay? So I went to the sport complex. I discarded myself again. through Mason Gold Jr. That's how I entered the sports complex. The child soldiers, none of them recognized me. I went there for 2 days. The third day, I managed to get most of them. That's how we organized the peace race in Monrovia, and the ECOMOD won the medal that was distributed. That had the first peace race. That's how we did as track and field soldiers. So personally, what I can do now to promote and develop sport in Liberia, I will appreciate very much where the Minister of Youth and Sports to invite me to Monrovia to sit on the round table with him and then be able to discuss on how sports can be developed in terms of decentralization. As I said at the beginning, sports is only being played in Monrovia when it comes to track and field. When they say county meet, they only take the children from Newtown, West Point, and Sleway. What's about the child way in Lofa County? What's about the child way in Southtown? What's about the child way in Maryland? Then the Ministry of Youth and Sports says they don't have money. So we need to go down there and be able to recruit these athletes through the sport decentralization. And when you bring them under the county meet, government should be able to incentivize the sport. The top athlete, the cream de la cream, which is the national team, put them on payroll. Let them be getting something at the end of the month. And then contact this company, Estala Mita, Jetty Corporation, etc., to be able to sponsor the national team. Like what we do here in Wisconsin.
I'm afraid all the time. All the time.
Can I give you 1 minute, please?
No, I got to give
me 1 minute, please.
Yeah, in 30 seconds all the time.
Can you give me 1 minute, please?
Yeah.
So look, kudos to all of you guys for coming on. Kudos to all of you guys for the service that you render our country. But when it comes to Liberian professionals, right, it confuses me sometimes because I think we're heavily dependent on the government for everything, right? Government must do this, government must do that. But when you look at other countries, the legends that you guys talk about, that needs to be around sports, that needs to encourage the younger ones. I mean, these guys are not necessarily, they're demanding from the government to act, right? You need structure, you need programs, and you need government support in some areas. But what they're also doing is they're also investing. I mean, look at Mani, for instance. Mani just went back in his town and built a stadium in his town. Never been done before. And he has opened a soccer team to help young men and women advance just as much as he did. I can go on and on. In each of these countries, legends, people who've been given the opportunity to go outside, play, make a little bit of money, they are out there going back in their little town, in their little communities, and they are investing. I mean, how many of our soccer legends? We got plenty. Somebody, man, I used to hear about when I was born, when I wasn't even born.
Unfortunately, you don't understand. Liberia don't have that privilege. We don't have two players playing at that level.
Listen, you don't have to make one second.
How many? Let me ask you a question. How many Liberians you know that go back to the villages and build houses and stuff there? How many?
Well, wait now. Let me I only got 30 seconds, my people. I beg y'all. Please, I beg y'all. You don't have to make one pop, sir. 1 second now, please. Let me land. I got only 30 seconds. You don't have to make.
I understand.
You don't have to make tens of millions of dollars as the other guys to give back. Those players who went outside, James Salinsadiba, the Kevin Sigmund, the Oliver McCall, all of the Washington Blake, all these guys that play professional football made something. If you made $250,000 throughout your career, my question is, what stops some of these guys from going back into their towns where they came from to invest in the lives of young men just as much as the government and other people invested in your lives? Oh, yeah, it's Joe, we are.
Let me ask you a question.
Why is it that some of you guys did not go back to invest?
Let me answer him. Sir, it's unfortunate you don't know the Liberian professionals, the guys that play professional football outside Liberia. We only got about 2 or 3.
No, that's not true. That is not true, sir. That is not true.
Look,
that is not true. No, I can name 10, 15. That is not true.
Tell me how many Liberian players play in the European League?
I don't know if
how
you're
many Liberian players play in the European League?
You have Jason Robert playing the Champions League. George Weah playing the Champions League. Jim Diva playing the Champions League. You had a lot of players that play the Champions League. My question is, how many of them went back to
No.
Y'all keep attacking me. Let me land by. Let me land. Ask my question.
One quick question, please.
No, but y'all keep interrupting me. I can't even land.
I think this is unfair to the athletes. How many people you know? How many people you know from the southeast region, from the west, from the north that got college degrees with all the money that build houses in the villages? How many?
But that's the point he's making, though.
No, but that's not the point. No, wait.
That's not the point you're making, Robert.
No, that's not the point I'm making. That is not the point I'm making. That is not the point I'm making. Can I get a word? I can't even.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing here. I don't know if you were following the show from the genesis of it, but Mr. Warworth spoke of their contribution. He spoke of the fact that they have constructed basketball court. They have other programs that are going on, and they have initiatives that are going across.
And that's fine. No, that's fine. If they have constructed basketball court, that's fine. I'm not speaking to these guys. 1 second. Let me get my point across. I'm not speaking directly just to
so just be concise with the question there, because
but y'all interrupting me. Y'all way back. Y'all way back. Okay, my thoughts. Y'all don't know to tell me how to talk.
Go ahead, Robert.
I'm not necessarily speaking to these guys on here. I'm speaking generally. I'm
understanding what he's saying.
Generally, what I'm saying generally is this, right?
Including these guys.
You on here have not made contributions. That's not what I'm saying.
No, we know.
What I'm saying is, most of the time, generally, most of our professionals, in fact, some of these guys have not even invested in their own lives. If you see some of the professional players that play the top of the league in Europe, the Champions League, the Europa League, the Conference League, you see them in Moreover today, you'll think they're house boys and house girls. What I'm saying is, what has come over us? Why is it that most of our professional players have not succeeded to the point where they have been able to go back? Yes, demand for this, demand for that, but we can see big projects. We can see them being CEO and owners of team. Mohamed Kalon, for instance, opened the FC Kalon a team. You know what he's done? He's been to Liberia recruiting young Liberia. There's a young kid in Sweden right now on a trial with AIK anthems because of Mohamed Kalon. This is what I'm talking about. So through that football team, he can have a voice on the table to say, look, this is what I want to do as an investor, as an owner. But most of the time, most of our professional players, all we do is complain, we demand, we did. But I haven't seen what we've done. What? Look, let me close on this note. The pops talk about recruitment from high school. I remember way back in the day, we had the inter-high school league. And one of the great ideas that I spoke about to the former Minister of Youth and Sport, why is it that the inter-high school league have not progressed to the college level? This country develops sports because of these programs, high school, college, and then you got recruitment into the MLS. We got all of these players, but I'm sick and tired of hearing former legends and former players who have been successful one way or the other, whether you made 300,000 or 400,000. I have not seen most of them going back home to really make an own part, to become owners, to become stakeholders. You can be owners and stakeholders and have a more powerful voice than sitting in your comfort zone and making excuses and pointing fingers and being. Most of these guys have not done that. I'm sorry. Not you.
At the same time, how much work have you invested in?
Guys, I'm sorry. We're out of time.
Can I address that issue? Can I address the issue?
Yeah,
we'll continue this next week.
Speaking of former players, let me address that issue, please.
Let me address that statement made by Robert. It wasn't a question much more. It was a statement made by Robert.
I don't know you. I don't think you know me. But I understand from where you come from. You know, we have a privilege to travel out of Liberia and play football for little or nothing. But I just want to tell you, there weren't any professional player besides Georgia. The Diba, 3-4 of them that play top professionals that play in the European League. Everybody was in the third division, but they will go back home and pretend that they're playing big league. So when they're not even from Western Europe, they come from not Turkey, the Arab, the small country where they don't pay player. They give you salary 300 or more or 200 a month, and you stay there, you go back home. Why do you think the people go back home and still look the local boys when they were playing professional? Because they didn't make money abroad. They want to Georgia and Diba and the other few. That's all.
Robert, it's a matter.
It's a generation because they didn't do it. The other people did it in the country. When Georgia played to that higher level.
Yes, sir. The other men talking, I will listen. Yes, sir.
I think it's this stuff is our Liberian mentality. It's not only the athlete you're talking about. We can look at it across the board. Look at Liberian professionals. How many of us that got home or built anything in our villages? How many? None. And this is the thing that we need to be doing.
Years now. What you
got somebody else need to be doing that. Somebody got PhD.
Oh, you talking about me? You talking about me?
I talk about all of us.
In general.
In general.
Because I'm building my hustle. I'm building my house right now. I'm building a big mansion right now. I'm a young man.
Go to the Southeastern region. All the PhD people they got coming from there. Not one heart they got there.
So, Mr. Wadsworth, what have you done?
What have I done? Yeah. You know what I've done? I'm an educator. I've been educating people.
Thank you. So that's a contribution. You see?
Yeah. That's a contribution. We're out of time.
Let's watch myself. Let's collaborate.
Yes. That's what you said. And Mr. Wadsworth, I agree with you on that. We need something like a public-private partnership to collaborate. That's why I think this show is important.
Not only sports, even the area of education. We have to have school, business, community liaison. We got to collaborate. We can do it.
So that means
I think the best thing to do
is lay here from Peabody. At least he give me last. Lay here from Peabody so we can cut it out because
we'll talk about the winning but two stuff later on.
Yeah, we'll come back next week.
I didn't get to do that.
I'm fine. Great discussion.
Ben took my time out.
So I want to say thank you to everyone who turned up. Thank you so much. Liberian people appreciate this show. Somebody already said they will pay for another one to next week. So we'll look forward next week having another show. Guys, the people are impressed. People in the government watching the show. Everybody, people are watching the show. I'm happy. I saw my brother, Senator Sir Joseph, our sport enthusiast. You all watching this show. I'm so happy that people show interest in this show tonight. Thank Mr. Wadsworth. Thank Kajebo, Mr. Soko, Mr. Wisep. Look, you guys made a sacrifice for our country.
Thank you for the service. Thank you for your service.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for
your story.
I didn't mean to cause no harm. Thank you, guys.
Inspiring.
Robert, you raised some important.
Yeah, it's important that you raise that. That's important. You keep raising it. You understand?
So thank you, and we look forward to next week to have another show like this because of
Timale. In this topic, you guys play an important role. The media.
I'm right here.
Mr. Wisa, President, we are.
Don't forget, write the journal, write the book.
I said, I will tell President, we are to call you. I said, you are President, we are finished.
No, you will never call me.
He will call you.
Yes, so
God Jabble, the great player.
Look, listen, guys.
You will never call me.
I have some original records here. Listen, I have some original records here from the 1963, 1964 high school basketball league.
We bring it next week.
I tell you who play who.
We bring it
next week. Mama Musa.
Listen,
show him on the screen.
You say, look, show you what, brother. Listen,
that guy was left in Liberia a long time ago.
Listen,
the former president,
a long time ago. The former president of the Basketball Federation, Ty Harris, the first Liberian, he was first of two Liberians to play college basketball in the United States. Ty was not only, he said he broke and set three NCAA Division I scoring record in soccer. He was being recruited by Real Madrid. This was in the 60s to go and play professional soccer in Spain. He passed it. He didn't say he had to play football. And he was being recruited by a Pittsburgh Steelers to be a kicker. He passed it. He didn't say he had to play football. But guess what? His father was a founding member of the Liberia Basketball Association.
Wow.
Thank you so much. Next week, we'll look for next week. We'll have a better show next week.
I'll be on time next week.
Yeah, Robert. Yeah, you gotta come.
Okay, Robert.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Nice meeting you guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. George.
Thank you. We appreciate it. Next week, we'll look forward to seeing you guys again.
Thank you. Thank you. You guys have a good day.
Thank you, sir.
I didn't even feel the 3 hours, man.
I know, right?
Yeah, you guys.
Thank you. Guys. Wait, Harry, got where's someone now? No, you know there's no closing argument on Osmo Politics. We'll end the show. Yeah, play the song someone. I hear this song now on Reddit.
Oh, the biggest sleepy bar.
Ready to go. Yeah, but Harry, John, move the thing. That do our closing, man. Please move it.
Yeah. We're going to do closing again, Tomalin?
Yeah, man.
Want to small thing, I beg you.
Yeah, man, let's go.
Yeah, I'm gonna do some more now. I got some breaking news.
Politics, my man. That guy politics. That's the city we're talking about.
But on a serious note, people appreciate the show. They like the show.
Yeah, great idea. Tomalin, thank you.
Let's say this, on Monday, the president will deliver his State of the Nation address, the first one, and we expect the president to be giving his agenda for the year and everything. So that was a critical speech he's giving, and we pray that they won't do what they did in the inauguration last week. We pray that those who organize it, this one is Ben. The legislature want to organize the program, right? They don't want to invite the president. So we look forward to them making sure that.
Who's going to be on Monday? Who's going to be on the closing argument on Monday to respond to the president of the nation?
We'll be having the Honorable Yeke Kolwa will be our guest on Monday.
That he will be here. He will
give respond to the president.
That's something y'all bring.
Yeke said he will respond officially to the president's State of the Nation on the closing argument.
Wait, but so we got to ask you questions, right?
Everybody will be here. It will be an all-star panel.
Tomalin, have we found the money though? The inauguration money? Who stole it?
We are still talking about our money because. Hey man, y'all move this thing now. You guys should play team at the beginning of show him play. Move from the level talk. Every move this more,
Who stole the inauguration money?
Getting back.
There are two things happening first. Robert and Ben Lofa. Look, the first thing, inaugural 650K. We need to find out how that money was spent.
Right.
Because one story said they gave one guy they called Chris Wallace $60,000 for a car. The man said he got $10,000.
The man said he didn't get no money.
So one know
he said he got $10,000.
Yeah, and then we also know that the chairman of Unity Party is saying that we invited him, and but people are still concerned that people are saying today that if the president nominates him, they will have a problem with that because they have to give an account of the money that they gave to the various district for inaugural program. So he has addressed that issue. I hope he can address it, and it's just better to address it to make it better for everyone. So. But guys, before we go, let's quickly in 30 seconds. What do you expect to hear from President Bouaga on Monday? Quickly. Ben Sanvee, start with you. Let's go.
Are you starting with me? I will listen to the president's speech. I will listen to his statement. I don't know what he said. His plans were arrest during the campaign. I would expect that he will expand on arrest and give a plan on what he intends to do for the country. This is the first one. I want to see this is the first time as Joe Boyka is going to be speaking as president to the country, right? The people's representative. So we'll wait to see what he say. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Okay, so what you make of people that some people are saying that they won't mind how you give it, whether he's stand or sit. It doesn't matter, right?
No, it do matter.
It does matter. I don't think he should sit. I don't think he should sit. No. If he's sitting, then they have to let the country know why he's sitting. If the president is not fit to serve, that in itself is a problem. If the president cannot stand to speak, we don't know that Joe Boyka has any disability. We don't know him to have any limitation whatsoever. In fact, the statement that came from the executive mansion when he had the heat exhaustion said, his doctor said that he was in perfect health. Yes. That was the way the statement ended. So I expect to see a fake president. I expect him to stand. I expect him to read his speech, whether it's 3 hours, it's 4 hours, it's 7 hours. I know Joe Boyka is fake because that's what they said he is. So I don't expect him to. We don't have a president who is handicapped. I'm sorry. As far as I'm concerned, except they want to tell us something we don't know.
Look, what I expect to see or what I expect to hear is that he will make that announcement on the War and Economic Crime Court. He will talk about setting up the team in the next 6 or 7 months so they can explore the opportunity for a War and Economic Crime Court because people are dying, and some of the victims have not seen justice for the parents and all of that. So I expect him to do it as soon as possible.
And I also,
Dr. Peabody,
go ahead.
I don't know whether you got camera in my house, but it appears that you're reading my notes on here, and that's not fair. But on a serious note, though, that is what I hope for. Okay, but again, I hope to hear the president announce his decision on the establishment of the War and Economic Crimes Court and his decision to fight corruption, as he promised he would, because they are the rescue train, as they promised us. And I just hope not to see the president having to sit in his deliberation. I really pray that would not be the case. Even if he would simply stand up for 30 seconds and say, Liberians, I'm here to serve you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity, and leave. I would take that other than having to watch him sit. If the president sit, God, again, it would be another reason why the world should laugh and make mockery of us. So yeah, what I really hope to hear, and I expect to hear, hopefully, is issue on the War Crimes Court, the fight against corruption, and something that he already started doing, the issue of nepotism. I know he's not going to stop it because he already hired his nephew to work at Nokal, so he can't speak to that. But that's what I really want to hear, man. Thanks, guy. It was a great show, though. Honestly, thanks.
But look, there is nothing to make mockery about a person with disability. To Ben's point, there's nothing wrong with anyone who is disabled or who is not fit mentally. There's nothing. If that's the case, then we need to know. Understandably, then he can sit, right? But if the president is fit, mentally, physically fit to serve, as we've been told, then the optics of him sitting, giving a speech, will speak to the contrary. So no, I don't think he should speak. I think that they should be they should take into consideration everything to make sure that he's not standing for 2 hours to give a speech. This is a policy speech, so we expect it to be long. And I really want the president, since now that he's been elected, to give another shot at the expectation on this comment. There will be no car stuck on any role in my first 90 days. I want him to either reaffirm that, or I want him to give clarification on that, because we expect that to happen. And 90 days come the 22nd of February, we'll make it 1 month. We'll make him 1 month in office. So you got 2 more months, right? So I expect that. I also want the president to look in the camera and say to us and the Liberian people that an investigation have begun, and that those are found responsible for any corrupt act for the missing monies that are in question, the $360,000, the inaugural funds, will be held accountable for these corrupt acts. Actions. I think it might be a great speech. I look forward to what he would say.
And lastly, the recent nominations by the president, people I will be assured by senators that will have an open confirmation, and I think everybody should be given the fair shot of the confirmation. They should go there. And Librarians got qualms should raise it with the committees, and I think everybody should go and prove themselves that they are ready for the job and so forth. But in line with recent nominations, people have a problem with it, and I think it's fair. Librarians have the right to have a problem with anything concerning their country. So that our taxpayer money will be paid and used to run the government. So look forward to see the nominations that have been made, and we've already seen it. But I think everybody should be given a fair chance to go for a confirmation hearing. And guys, I know you expect a robust confirmation hearing. This is the Senate first test. And based on how they will do the nomination, how to do the confirmation process, because if somebody have a question, legitimate question about anyone, and it's still pressing, especially when the facts are made, I think it will be unfair to the country and the people. But again, guys, confirmation hearing is starting next week. Look forward to it. And Lofa, is the foreign minister designate still coming tomorrow?
We got to confirm that. Let's not announce it right now. I'm still working in the back. I know the team was discussing it. They were going to confirm it with me, but we will announce it tomorrow, hopefully before at least 2 or 3 hours before the show starts. So yeah, they're supposed to get back to me, and we're still discussing it. They haven't confirmed anything yet, but I know they mentioned interest in coming on tomorrow.
Well, so let's wait and see what happened. But we'll look forward to we'll be around our time here. We'll be on Monday will be 4 o'clock. That when that speech is given. So it will be around about, I think, 1 o'clock our time in the States. So
I know her dad very, very well, man. He was my deacon at my church, International Christian Fellowship in Atlanta.
I can't wait to ask Yeke Koluba. That the reason he called my uncle go, it won't be fun here.
In the meantime, President Weah is gaining a lot in Europe. I mean, people line up just to take photos with him, man.
Really?
Yeah,
in Italy. The man in Italy right now.
That's why he cool. That's why he cool when he gave you trouble. He said, "I'm done with this."
He looks unbothered. He looks unbothered, man, having fun.
Yep.
All right, guys.
You guys have a good one.
Happy Saturday, guys. Good night.
Play music now, Harry. Play the music now. Play now, Harry.
Harry, I go all the way. Yeah, there is, man.
He's staying play, yo.
And Harry, that computer I got in, I don't know, the laptop I got in that place is terrible, bro.
Let me see already now. Later.
Yeah, Aaron need that more bike to take him home every day.
Oh, yeah. He and I had a conversation. We got to talk about that,
Our Liberian people, we choose success. Our Liberian people, we choose success.
Yeah, man.
Hey. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Those days. All right, Harry, take care. I don't want to keep you
Harry. Choose success. Our Liberian choose success. Wherever you play, wherever you go,
guys.
The Liberian people, we choose victory.
Oh yeah. Oh yes.
We gotta go.
We gotta go, buddy. We miss it. All right, buddy. Have a good one.
And I'll tell you on that note, this I would like to call your day on today's presentation, the special edition of the closing argument. The time stand at exactly 8 minutes of the 12 o'clock. It has been very, very informative, educative here on the closing argument. This is the Renaissance of Communication, a Truth FM 96.1, a broadcasting live from Duper Road, Painesville, outside the nation's capital. Many thanks to our panelists. Many thanks to the team there at Hot FM at 107.9 for relaying this program. And the team there at Truth FM 96.9, Nema County Encyclopedia for auto reading this program. And all affiliate or radio stations for carrying this program. And for on behalf of the team, my name is Henry Jarrett. But God's willing, on Monday, we're going to be with another fresh edition of the closing argument. So don't go to wait. On Monday, we're going to be here again. Stay tuned at same time, same station. We take our weekend break on today to join you back on Monday. So bye-bye from my end for on behalf of the team. My name is Henry Jarrett. Being here with me, Elijah Zizi alongside Arthur Butler.